Welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you, and let's party. Big shout out to the replay gang. Thank you so much for coming back to watch this, even though you missed the live party, guys. That is the best part, so make sure you're here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. So hit that subscribe, ring the bell, and you will never miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again. If you'd like to support the channel, head on over to TheIndianJesus.com for your very own official merch. Is getting cold. Get a jacket. TheIndianJesus.com. Guys, we do also have a Discord server that is absolutely free to join. It's like a giant group chat 24/7. We're in there hanging out, having a great time. And like I said, it's absolutely free to join. However, if you are a member of this channel here on YouTube, you can scroll right below the video, hit that join button. There's a few different tiers here, but it starts at just $2.99 a month. Comes with 12, well, we'll get there. It comes with members only live streams here on YouTube, all that other good stuff. And it opens up the full server, including the after party channel. So as soon as we're done here, we're headed over there, and we don't have to worry about any YouTube censors or anything like that. And you are not stuck behind your keyboard. You're actually on screen with me and everybody else. It is a good time. Definitely come and join us. See, Morty wants to join. Morty wants to join. It's my co-host Morty, aka the Overlord, if you didn't know. All right. So we're done with the holidays. We are done. Get your little booty in there. Get your little booty in there. There we go. We are done with the holidays. And we're getting back into stuff. And early on already, 2025 came in with a bang. Multiple, actually. So I'm sure you guys have heard of the Cybertruck that blew up in Vegas, and the guy with the ISIS flag who drove through the crowd in New Orleans. Not very good. Shout out to Zippy. Said government or terrorism? Yes. Well said, sir. Well said. And speaking of which, I don't even remember what the hell this guy's name is. Bernard Hudson, former CIA, sat down with Tucker to talk about what was going on. There's a couple other stuff in there that's not the only thing they were talking about, but I thought it was very interesting. And just we haven't gotten a lot of discussion about it. Outside of just news reports. So I figured let's jump into it. So as always, guys, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know.
I'm hardly an expert on CIA. I am an expert on elected officials in DC, and they're all afraid of getting killed or blackmailed. They think that the intel agencies will kill them. They actually think that. I don't know if you're aware of that. I'm aware of that. So they think that. Why do you think they think that?
Because it's true.
That wasn't my experience, working with, oversight when I work with them. I've sadly just never heard anybody say that to me.
I had a member of an intel committee, elected official, tell me that he was on the oversight committee, overseeing the IC, that they were spying on him, that they were reading his texts and listening to his calls, and there was nothing he could do about it. And I said, "Why don't you hold a press conference?" I mean, that's like so outrageous. It's illegal. You can't do that.
Don't nobody care. They know. Whoever you would bring it to, be like, yeah, we do that. Zippy said, don't forget the totally Islamist who drove into the Christmas market in Germany. I think it was Germany. Did not hear about this. What? This was this week, or I guess Christmas market would have been last week. Talk to me, or give me something to search, or give me an article, or give me something. I did not hear about this. Shout out to King Nirvana. Welcome to the party. Good to see ya. Zippy, if you got an article there, I would love to check that out. We also got our boy Nick Luchetti. Welcome. Always a pleasure. The best mod on YouTube. Thank you. For dropping those links, guys. If you are not a member, make sure you join to hit the after party. Welcome, guys.
I mean, that's like so outrageous. It's illegal. You can't do that. You saw the chairman of the Senate Intel Committee violated some agreement the CIA thought that she had with them, and they spied on her. They spied on Senate staff. They got caught, and no one right? So, and actually the Senate didn't do anything about it. They didn't.
All right, so let's see what Zippy is talking about here. Oh, beautiful. A video. Is it going to be in English?
Der Tatverdächtige.
Nope. We tried, but from Reuters, December 21st. Oh, wait, where am I? Yeah, okay. Authorities investigated a Saudi doctor with a history of anti-Islam rhetoric as the suspected driver in a car ramming attack on a Christmas market in the German city Magdeburg that killed 5 people and injured scores. Friday evening attack on crowds gathered to celebrate Christmas season. So this guy is saying anti-Islam. The suspect, 50-year-old psychiatrist who lived in Germany for almost 2 decades, was arrested at the scene. I'm trying to see if we can get some type of motive here. What a terrible act to injure so many people with such brutality. Yep. Yeah. So I mean, there doesn't seem to be anything at face value here. That is connected because why did I do that? Because the ones that at least the driving one that was like this was definitely pro-Islam. So I'm going to assume that they are not connected. But Islam is Islam. You know what I mean? Regardless of which side you're on, there's violence. No bueno. So I don't think doubt that those are directly connected, but Islam is always the culprit.
Got caught and no one. Right. So, and actually the Senate didn't do anything about it. They didn't say, we're going to expose your black budget or, defund parts.
I mean, that's shit. Me too. I'm not about to go do nothing like that, but agreed.
We were going to fire you. No one did anything. So what does that tell you? If the agency can spy on sitting senators who are supposed to be in charge of them, or their budget anyway, what does that tell you about how afraid people are?
And so just for a little bit of context, again, obviously we didn't start at the very beginning of this conversation. They're talking about a lot of stuff. And I want to, go back a little bit. They're talking specifically about the deep state and the intelligence community just having unfettered power and being able to blackmail Congress and other politicians, all that stuff. Shout out to Indie Fam. Welcome to the party, sir. Very, very, very good to see you. We're the first subscribers to this channel. Welcome. The guy in Germany. Yep. I mean, it depends on that's going to be a very big part of where this conversation goes. You already hear people talking about, is the word terrorist and terrorism, and is that being thrown around too much? And I definitely think it could be going forward. So far, when we're talking about Luigi, we're talking about Vegas, and we're talking about New Orleans. Those are terrorism. So what is hidden cell terrorism? What does that specifically refer to? I hadn't heard that before.
Or their budget anyway. What does that tell you about how afraid people are?
So let me take this in reverse order.
Yes.
So I think you're talking about the Feinstein
That's exactly
statement.
Right.
So as my understanding of how that happened is that they accused the agency of being able to look at the computers.
Correct. In the Senate.
That were in the CIA building that the Senate staff had access to. And that these were government computers with CIA information on it. And that all of those computers come with a warning, both written on the cover of the computer and when you boot it up, that this is a government system and it's fully auditable. So it's my understanding that the computers in question, that Senator Feinstein said were improperly accessed by the agency, were in fact, CIA computers that were made available to them, but with the clear warnings that anything on this computer that you do.
I mean, it sounds legit. That sounds legit. Like, when you're in high school, like your locker isn't your locker. It belongs to the school. But I don't know. Like they say, nobody ever retires from the CIA. So definitely gonna, take a second look. Shout out to Right Click. Welcome to the party. Signing up as a member. Welcome to being a disciple. And of course, every donation comes with a treat for Morty. Thank you, sir. And welcome to the party. Always a pleasure. Welcome. I'm sure you got some stuff to say about these spooks in the CIA.
Some other computer that you would be on, not your personal handheld device. Those computers are accessible by CIA security, just like every other computer that the CIA buys and makes available for its own employees, so that there's an audit function on all of that. Now, I had never heard, that the allegations ever extended to other computer systems that people in the Senate were using that were not provided by the CIA. Now, again,
I never heard of it. I mean, I'm sure it happened. I just never heard of it. Shout out to Dylan Soup. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you. Good to see you, brother.
Caution that I wasn't directly involved in that.
I'm pretty sure that Senator Feinstein said and alleged that CIA was spying on her staff in order to push back against her expected pushback against them. In other words, to control her.
They were spying on me so that I could spy on them to see if the spying was spyable and spying would be the spy. Then what?
I was aware she said that. Again, my understanding is the only, audits that were going on of any computers were ones that were clearly marked as this is a computer owned by the government, subject to audit. So I can't speak to, what I can't speak to is never in my career did anybody ever approach me and say anything about
spying on members of Congress.
Convenient, because that's what you would expect, right? That people will be like, hey, guess what? I'm doing this completely unconstitutional thing.
Never. No one ever asked me to do it. No one I know ever told me that they were involved in it. And it's a fairly small place.
Right.
So I'm not saying that.
So
again, I'm saying all this to just give the frame of reference that we are talking to somebody who is in the CIA, and former CIA is always CIA.
If a member of a Congressional Intel Oversight Committee says, I believe CIA or NSA is spying on my personal communications in an effort to control me, do you think that's a crazy thing to say?
If he says no, we're ending the show right here.
I think it's troubling if any member of Congress believes that.
Not only believed it, like I think the person believed it, told me in a restaurant. But I said that's like completely outrageous. And actually, you can't have a democracy under those circumstances. So you should hold a press conference and say, I can't do that. So really, to me,
at first I was saying, I thought Tucker was saying, oh, that can't happen. But he's like, meaning like that can't be allowed to happen. And then again, hold a press conference. Nope, they will.
Yeah, under those circumstances. So you should hold a press conference and say, I can't do that. So really, to me, it's unprovable whether or not they were spying on his phone. Maybe he's a nutcase. He's a pretty famous person, but could be a nutcase. But what I was struck by was the fear. Like, I can't do that.
And that's, I would say, what you just told me. That would be, if I was still in government, that's the thing that would trouble me.
Yeah.
Is that if our relationship with our oversight has reached this sort of a level where they would entertain that type of a...
Where CIA is more powerful than the people overseeing CIA. That's not good.
I mean, again,
no, it's not.
In all my
And how long has it been like that? How long has it been that the people who oversee the CIA I guess that's supposed to be the executive branch, right? How long has that been not a thing? Who knows?
Powerful than the people overseeing CIA. That's not good.
I mean, again, in all my interactions when I would go down and testify or provide, background briefings to Congress, it was always with the understanding, that the CIA has an office, that deals with collaboration and oversight. It was always like, you've got to make sure everything you say is accurate. If you say something that's not accurate, you've got to come back and explain that you got it wrong, that you submitted something that was, in error.
And we know the CIA is great with that.
It was always deferential in my level and with what I experienced. But if I had become aware that, a senior senator had said something like that, or a congressman at any level, I'd say we definitely have a problem. We need to reestablish trust.
Well, I have...
Just so we understand, I must have missed this exact part, but just so we understand, we're talking about if the CIA and the NSA are spying on senators. It's like, well, I mean, I don't know. I've never heard of that. Bro.
However, it has to happen. And if somebody had ever told me that we're spying on, congressmen,
what would make you think that we would believe that there is any possibility that you're not spying on everybody? Edward Snowden was like 15 years ago, right?
I wouldn't have followed an order like that. And most of my friends that I know who were there wouldn't have followed an order like that.
I never
Don't believe you? Me neither, Tucker.
believed any of this stuff. And then the closer I got to it, the more I thought there's something really wrong here. And that almost without exception, the members of Congress who are the most vocal cheerleaders for the IC are the ones with the most to hide in their personal lives.
Mm-hmm. IC being intelligence community.
Definitely noticed that theme. Definitely. And I feel like there's probably a connection. Does that make sense?
Again, I never saw, heard, or even got a whiff of anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Washington does play by some pretty hard rules, and within the political world. But again, if I'd ever been in a meeting, where somebody had said, "Hey, we're going to, dish some dirt on some congressman," it would have been utterly shocking and appalling.
Yes.
And
come on, man. Seriously. I wish I had committed this part to memory. I might have picked an entire different thing. So let's just skip ahead to where they're talking about the JFK files and the 9/11 files. This guy is full of ish. Doesn't mean that we can't get some information we otherwise wouldn't be able to get. But yeah, he needs a wedgie. He needs a wedgie.
That mistrust.
So one of the things that the intel community could do to restore trust is declassify things that have no legitimate reason to be secret, like any files pertaining to the Kennedy assassination from 62 years ago. And yet they are ferocious, the CIA in particular, ferocious opponent. Fact, because I bumped up against it myself, ferocious opponents of declassifying that information. Why do you think that is?
Get him, Tucker. Get him. Come on, Tucker. This is where we need you to be, Tucker.
So there is a sort of a reflexive circling of wagons when it comes to secrecy in the IC. I think in the case of the Kennedy assassination, and probably things certainly dating back maybe even less than that, there's an overwhelming public benefit to sharing that data.
But in that specific case, it was so long ago, so many books have been written about it. It's a cliche. It's almost a parody at this point. The Kennedy assassination. It's like, if you can't give an inch on that. And by the way, as of 2 weeks ago, I happen to know they were still fighting it like ferociously. No, you cannot appoint that person. That person might disclose those files. What? What is that?
So,
and what is the cover story for why that needs to be so well kept? The only thing that I've heard that could even be considered a real reason why they don't want to release all that stuff is because there's people who are still in government, or at the very least still alive, who were orchestrating things. Other than that, I cannot understand why something 60 years ago, like, all right, fine, 9/11, again, I don't love it, but I understand it. But JFK, come on, man. Shout out to Nick Luchetti. No question, no comment, just pure love of the Overlord. Thank you. So very, very much, sir. Getting us started on the swole goal, guys. Make sure you check out that goal at the top of the chat. We're going to get some puppy bench press, $2 or more. Let's do it. Nick, thank you. And that makes you the new sponsor of the stream.
Close those files. What? What is that?
So what I'll say next, I'll say as a person who spent most of my adult life, in the intel community, I would be very curious as to
so basically don't listen to whatever I'm about to say.
Community. I would be very curious as to how somebody would try to justify that. I mean, the only thing that I could think of is that, government files would include theories of a crime or an event that later get to be disproven. So in the early days of, some kind of an event, you're going to have agencies and parts of your agency generate things. But I think American democracy can handle that. And
demand.
Well, I mean, yeah, we definitely demand it. But I mean, handle what? How do you know what it is to handle? Right Click said, I think it's because opening the Kennedy files will possibly create more questions. Part of a bigger conspiracy. I mean, I would be surprised if not, but I feel like that's exactly the point. That, we have people like Kash Patel and Tulsi. Did they already talk about Tulsi? I think we could. We can go back to them talking about Tulsi if we get past all that stuff. But yeah, I think that is the obvious thing. My question is, what are they telling people to be like? Oh, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. We got to keep that covered up. Like, what are they telling the American people who actually believe them and understand that? Yeah, that makes sense. You got to keep our secrets. Like
What? Oh,
Nah.
hell no.
But yeah, I completely agree with you. Completely.
But I think American democracy can handle that. And
Well, it demands it. Who's the president of the United States?
Well, I mean, the president has absolute declassification authorities.
I'm aware.
So people can dislike it, but if the president says you will declassify everything related to subject X, his declassification authority is as broad and absolute as his pardon power.
And that going back to what Right Click says, that is a very valid reason as to maybe why Trump wouldn't want to completely let everything out there. Like, oh, okay, if there is stuff that, again, maybe the American people can't handle it. Maybe there was so much involvement that it's like, hey, yo, whoa. Like, okay, maybe there was a rogue actor and this, that. But no, it's just like, well, yeah, everybody was down with this. There's 150 people signed up. We don't know. And the more that you hide it, the further the speculation can go. Why would I think? Give me one good reason to think that everyone in the government at that time didn't sign their name in ink on a piece of paper to say, yes, go do that to JFK. And everything they're doing further confirms that. Am I saying that's the only reason? No, but makes a lot of sense.
Why would Pompeo fight so hard to keep those files secret?
I really don't know. If the president had said that they wanted something declassified, I don't understand why they would say that, they would push back on it.
You can't have any fathom. You can't have any fathom. You know what I mean? You can't fathom any idea. Your whole life in the intelligence community. No idea.
Do you think CIA had a role in the president's murder in 1963?
I personally don't. If I had to guess, could I see a situation where dots didn't get connected that should have been connected?
What does that mean?
Things dropped off the table. Somebody looked at a piece of information and said, well, that's not really all that important. That said, I have friends of mine who are retired, CIA officers who
just like me,
who at least entertain the idea that the agency of 1962, 1963, it's possible. I don't personally see that.
Okay, why?
But this could all be cleared up if they just put out whatever they have.
Shout out to Van. I mean, I guess I never really figured out how to say this, but Van7E, welcome to the party. We rated his gaming stream the other day. If that is your bag, definitely go check him out. Welcome to the party. Good.
But this could all be cleared up if they just put out whatever they have.
Yeah, I mean, it seems very unlikely to me after all these years there could be anything in those files, which are, of course, physical files.
Yes, they're all paper.
Yeah, of course. Really, they're still there sitting in a manila folder, like, telling us who the assassin was working for or whatever, telling us the truth. I have a lot of trouble believing they'd still be there.
Which again, Brock, it's a T. Gotcha. Shout out to Avante. There we go. Avante. Shout out. And yeah, like, again, it just brings back to the same question. Like, what are they, if you're not, I don't want to say conspiratorial, but if you're not as skeptical as we are here, and asking like, okay, well, what is the explanation? I haven't even heard them try to explain it. And I think that goes along with, any of the recent UFO stuff, the drone stuff. They can just ignore it. And then it just goes away. It just goes away because there's another story and it gets lost in the shuffle. And I think partly people like myself, and maybe people have a little bit bigger of a platform, but people like myself who have a platform need to be better at bringing back that skepticism. No,
if they were ever there. The only reason that I'm focused on it is because I know for a fact that there are CIA employees. I know this for a fact, dead certain fact. I just was hearing about it.
Yep. Shout out to Funk Master General. Welcome to the party. Always a pleasure to see you, sir. Always.
Are trying to prevent certain people from getting jobs on the basis of their belief that those people will push for declassification. I think it's crazy.
Again,
there you go.
For the people I know.
And this is so far. So usually when I do these, I don't like to go in blind because I don't know. I don't know if it's good or not. So I don't want to show you guys and be like, oh, I wish this was better, which I've done a number of times and realized not to do. So usually what I'll do is, I'll skip through, I'll play it just to make sure that it is something good to watch, but that I could still have a pretty fresh reaction. And so I did not realize when I was watching this before how slimy this guy actually is. And so at first where we jumped in, Tucker wasn't really pushing back. But now as we're getting into this stuff, I'm really appreciating what Tucker is doing. Shout out again to the Funk Master General. Add into the swoggle. And of course, a treat for the overlords. So I was watching Van ruin some kid's life's work. Is that Van like Vontae? Gang, do your thing. Word up. And where'd he go? Oh, and of course, that makes you the new co-sponsor of the stream. Thank you, sir.
I think
Again, for the people I knew when I was in the agency and the people I know who are still there, if I were still in, I would my reflexive position would be, okay, there's really no reason that something's that long ago can't be declassified in toto.
What about the 9/11 files? So we're moving on, we're getting close to 25 years later. All the governments in that region are different from what they were. Saudi government's completely different. I don't understand. And there are all these theories about what actually happened. And it's clear that we don't know the full story, whether the full story is sinister or not. I hope not, but.
Well, I mean, a shit ton of people died. So definitely sinister in some respect. But to which respect it is, is the question.
You would do a lot to heal American society by putting doubts to rest. And if these really are like dangerous conspiracy theories, then prove it. Like, why wouldn't?
Thanks for stopping by, brother. You have a good one.
They release all those files.
Well, I'll go on the record as saying, I believe 9/11 was perpetrated by who we said it was.
Yes.
And
surprise.
Some of those people are still down in Guantanamo Bay waiting for justice. Others are dead. I'm very confident the IC had nothing to do. There's no deep state actors or, putting demolitions in the towers in New York.
Okay, why do you believe that? You have information that we don't. Tucker, you have information that we don't. But especially, you have enough information to ask the right questions. And you're not doing it. Dylan said the question is just how sinister it was. If it happened exactly as the events, or as they say, the events unfolded, or some kind of shady government blood sacrifice ritual. Sinister is, whether or not it was sinister is not the question. Definitely was. How sinister and by what means and by whose direction and under what intentions are the questions on the table.
There really was a plane that hit the Pentagon. I think you could make a good case that there's no reason not to declassify most of this stuff. What I would
Okay. And hey, shout out to Ayush. Welcome to the party. So believing in something is free of litigation. Very true. But if you want to convince anybody else, then that's where the litigation comes in. But very true. Can't argue. Welcome to the party. What was I going to say? Oh, you can see
that there's no reason not to declassify most of this stuff.
So you could see he's playing an interesting game where he's like, the CIA is totally cool. Why wouldn't they just release that stuff? And so then when we're like, well, maybe because there's something bad in there. Like, no. I mean, it's just a weird thing that they do. Like, I don't know what's going on, but it's definitely not bad. I can tell you that. I don't know what's in it at all, but I can tell you for sure that you should worry about it. Okay, dude. It's very easy to say, yeah, I think they should do that. Number one, when you don't have any power to make that happen or not happen. And number two, when you know that just saying it is going to make you look good and give you credibility in the moment. Actually, so let's go to our poll. We didn't even get to the terrorist attack conversation just yet. But the poll reads, do you think the attacks are connected to each other? And over half of you are saying no. So very, very interesting. And right on cue, Galantag said speculation and conspiracy theories. You're all crazy. You goddamn right. Welcome to the party. Forgot what the poll was going to be.
Case.
Oh, yeah. Okay. This is going to be, all right. This is going to be a fun one. Welcome to the party, brother. Let's do it.
I think you could make a good case that there's no reason not to declassify most of the stuff. What I would expect, might be troublesome. It's possible that, some of the early documents are wrong, materially wrong.
Hey, shout out to Guamtech. Thank you so very, very much, guys. Sharing the video helps so very much. It does not matter if you think anybody's going to click on the link, whether it's on YouTube or X or wherever. As long as you press that share button or you take that URL, you are already telling YouTube, I want more people to see this. And they definitely will do that. Thank you, sir.
When you're reporting on contemporaneous events, some of your reports will be wrong. I think people can understand that, okay, this is something that came out, a week after 9/11. It's incorrect. It was proven. It was a theory of the crime that was disproven. I personally believe if it would advance, building more trust with the government and the IC, which I think is absolutely critical to having, effective national security defense. I personally don't think that there's any reason you can't declassify most of those things, if not all of them.
But they don't because...
I agree with you on all counts. It is critical to national security and defense to have trust between the population and the government and employees to protect it, right? So trust is not just like this thing you wish you had. It's this thing you need in order for the system to continue. So
apparently not, because I ain't got a lick of trust, and we're still moving.
Yeah, and if people believe that there wasn't a plane that flew into the Pentagon, or that the CIA or Mossad or somebody else other than the 19 hijackers did this, prove them wrong. Like, wouldn't that, it would just be good for everybody, would it not?
Yeah, I mean, I remember years ago, actually, some people in Al-Qaeda discussing this, weirdly, that, they were upset that people were trying to take their credit from them for, doing what they did on 9/11. Because, for them, it was an important part of their, of their credibility with their own folks that they were able to pull this off. So
even that seems, duplicitous is a strong word, but like, yes, that's true. But that doesn't mean that, the Bushes or whoever weren't, directing things. It doesn't mean that, the guy, Osama bin Laden, who was previously working with the CIA, wasn't working with the CIA. It's like, oh, come on. Yeah, ISIS was mad. So obviously we know all of the details. What?
I see no reason that they probably can't.
It was 5 years ago this month that people started to drop dead in the central Chinese city of Wuhan. 5 years since the beginning of COVID. Tens of millions dead. Society
I have not seen this.
is reordered completely. Economies destroyed. And yet, for some reason, we still don't know answers to the most basic questions.
Speaking of things that we should know.
Where did this virus come from? How did it get here? Why did the government tell us to do things they knew wouldn't work? None of those questions have been adequately answered. And one man knows those answers. His name is Dr. Tony Fauci. Until now, nobody has really
Yo, is he about to sit down with Fauci?
Now, a documentary filmmaker called Jenner First is out with a new film explaining exactly what happened. The film is called Thank You, Dr. Fauci. Jenner First spent years trying to get answers. And in that time, as he awaited Dr. Fauci's response, he went through tens of thousands of pages of documents and pieced together the story, which is shocking. We are proud to host that documentary here on TCN from December 20th to January 19th. We'll see it exclusively here on TCN. Again, it's called Thank you, Dr. Fauci.
Does anybody here have a Tucker Carlson subscription? Does anybody here have a Tucker Carlson subscription? I will pay for it, but I would like to not to. But we definitely have to check that out.
And it's worth it.
He said it's worth it, bro. Come on. You don't know what you're talking about, Senator Paul.
Then
I wish I had covered my mouth a little bit better and then asked you guys, is that in the trailer or was that me?
why the effort, and CIA has, I think it's been, well, it has been documented, participated in this effort to discredit people who ask questions or who have alternate theories. Why not prove them wrong rather than resort to character assassination, conspiracy theorists, etc.?
So again, when I was in the agency and what me and my colleagues did, we were focused on collecting actionable foreign intelligence abroad.
Yes.
If somebody on the internet had something to say, that was completely at odds with what we knew to be the truth, you just sort of baked that in to how you did what you did. It's a political question. It's really a White House decision. If the White House had decided, you know what, it's in our national interests
To lie to people, then we're going to do it.
to put
Is that what he's saying?
everything out on the table that we have.
You're making a fair point, a true point. That's right.
And a president can make that happen. Just like a president can pardon anybody.
Okay, I'm gonna need to run that back. I'm too dumb. I need to hear that again.
Prove them wrong. Like,
Okay.
wouldn't that?
So yeah, if the CIA is like, no, you're wrong. You're all conspiracy theorists, just like Quantek. Then why not just prove them wrong? And
It would just be good for everybody, would it not?
Yeah, I mean, I remember years ago, actually, some people in Al Qaeda discussing this. Weirdly, that they were upset that people were trying to take their credit
we go back to
from them for doing what they did on 9/11.
Oh, that's right.
For
Credit people who it's been.
Okay, sorry.
Then why the effort, and CIA has, I think it's been, well, it has been documented, participated in this effort to discredit people who ask questions or who have alternate theories. Why not prove them wrong rather than resort to character assassination,
Okay, so I didn't fully understand
conspiracy
the
theorists,
answer, so
etc.?
let's see.
So again, when I was in the agency and what me and my colleagues did, we were focused on collecting actionable foreign intelligence abroad.
Yes.
Okay, so the question is, why not just prove them wrong? We were collecting foreign intelligence.
If somebody on the internet had something to say, that was completely at odds with what we knew to be the truth, you
Okay, so if somebody is lying online,
just sort of baked that in to how you did what you did.
does anybody have any idea what that means? If somebody's saying something that's at odds with what we know to be the truth, you just sort of bake that into how you did what you did. What? I don't understand. Shout out to Unwanted Foe. Welcome to the party. Another $2 make ya holla for the Overlord. No question, no comment. Well, he does have a comment. No questions. Thank you, sir. And of course, that makes you the new co-sponsor of the stream. Yeah, serious, sounds like nonsense talk. Sounds smart on the surface. Could be wrong, but you'd even be surprised. Oh well, I missed that one. What did we? So this one, I think I remember seeing that there were Ukraine connections from the Vegas guy to a lot of the same people. The second Trump Pure was involved with. Could be wrong, but you never know. You never really know. Wanted Vote said you take part of their theory and add in small parts to make it seem confusing. Okay, that makes sense. But why is that a good thing? Because he's playing that as like, oh well, we just do this. So if they're
we knew to be the truth, you just sort of baked that in,
bake their theory
to how you did what you did.
And that's the part that maybe if we just did what you did, you bake that into collecting foreign intelligence. What? I'm too dumb for this. Hey, Funk Master General with the $2 make you holla. Thank you, sir. Said fuck all of you guys. I am now the sponsor of the stream. Thank you so very, very much, sir. So in case you are just joining us, this guy, Bernard Hudson, is a former CIA intelligence officer. So he is here mostly to talk about just stuff in general. But they, they have a section coming up specifically talking about the attacks, connections, and that kind of stuff. I actually got a stronger inkling of a connection between the two from Actual Justice Warrior. He put out a video today that picks out a lot of the connections. So that's my backup. Again, I wish I'd paid a little bit closer attention to this. I thought it was a little bit different than it is. It's definitely still workable. But worst case scenario, we will jump over to that, and I will not have this stream be clickbait. Shout out to Nick Lucutti. Said, I am staying right there. I am keeping the co-sponsor spot and getting a treat for Morty. Guys, thank you so much. That's a third of the way there. A third of the way there on our swole goal. Thank you so very, very much, sir. All right, so you just bake it in. Yeah, and so what was Unwanted Foe saying?
With what we knew to be the truth, you just sort of bake that in to how you did what you did. It's a political question. It's really a White House decision. If the
Okay, so what's a White House question? How to create the theory using the disinformation?
Did what you did. It's a political question. It's really a White House decision. If the White House had decided, you know what, it's in our national interests to put everything out on the table that we have.
You're making a fair point, a true point.
And a president can make that happen. Just like a president can pardon anybody, a president can bulk declassify data if they want to. And there's literally nothing the federal workforce or the agencies could do to push back on that.
I mean, I feel like I understand that he's saying maybe this is just another slimy way of being like, well, we should trust the president to do whatever. If the president says we should keep it under lock and key, then that's what we should do. That sounds kind of like what he's saying. But I don't know. Yeah, former CIA, just like Putin is a former KGB agent. Indeed. And shout out to Nick. Hell yes, we cannot let Funkmaster do all the work. Very much appreciated. You gotta pay the troll toll to get into this boy's soul. It's funnier with the in, but very, very good. I'll give it a dilly. I'll give it a dilly. You gotta pay the swole toll to get this. It's not a troll toll. That's so. It's right there. It's so good.
The federal workforce or the agencies could do to push back on that.
I'm praying for that to happen because I think it's necessary for healing.
So yeah, it seems like they're saying, well, obviously a president could do this, and so the implication being, if it was, or maybe the implication being, well, why doesn't the president just do this? As if it's not as if there's no influence from the intelligence community to keep things under wraps. Do you guys agree? Do you think I'm off? I'm not sure what really the fuck just happened.
I'm praying for that to happen because I think it's necessary for healing. Sincerely. Too much is classified. Too much is secret. It's unfair on its face, but it's also corrosive of trust. I think that's my view.
I'm tired.
Tell us about security clearances. Security clearances, let me just say for context, as someone who lived in DC, are held by a lot of people who are not federal employees, a lot of contractors, a lot of retired people. Have security clearances, and they use those to make money in the private sector or from government working as contractors. And it seems like people leave government service and just continue on with their security clearance, which from my perspective as a U.S. citizen who's paid his taxes for 55 years, seems a little unfair. Like, why should John Brennan, who's not a federal employee, get to see top secret information, but I can't? Like, what? He's not a federal employee. I don't really understand that system.
So, I'll caution this by, I'm not an expert on how they do what we call contractor clearances.
Yeah.
But, in the years after 9/11, the federal workforce didn't grow as much as the work grew. And so what happened was there was an increasing reliance on private companies to do and to augment the federal intelligence community. Those companies would have to hire people who would need to get security clearances. And those security clearances have to be the equivalent of the ones that a federal employee had to do the same work. So in many cases, what you had were federal employees who reached the point of retirement, but let's say they're still relatively young, 50.
All right, I'm pulling an audible. This guy's a lot more interesting at 2 times speed, so we're going to skip up to exactly when they're talking about the attacks, and if it's not interesting, then we're going to switch over to actual Justice Warrior, who's specifically talking, not just having a conversation, but, laying out the facts. I got you guys. Don't you worry.
They don't have a right to keep it.
What do you make of these apparent terror attacks in New Orleans? The attack in New Orleans and then the exploding Cybertruck in Las Vegas.
So, it's early. And one of the things I learned, in my time dealing with terrorist actions and in the intel world is, you want to be careful about what you think you believe. You still get the story. What we know so far about New Orleans is it looks like other types of attacks we've seen over the years, sort of somebody becomes self-radicalized, and then carries out, an extreme act with little preparation time ahead of the actual attack. So often in these type of cases, somebody may have been thinking about doing some violent action. Something happens in their life, they see, think, or believe something, and they simply are triggered.
Yeah.
The, initial information, from, that I was reading earlier today was that the attack or whatever happened, the explosion in front of Trump Hotel is not related to, or they haven't detected any connections with what happened in New Orleans.
He was talking about being a deadhead with somebody on the show, right? I don't remember exactly who it was, but I do remember that. Yeah, Dylan is self-radicalized or the radicalized by the algorithm that was perfectly catered to make you think that. Self-radicalized. Rumsek said Tucker Carlson admitted to applying to join the CIA. Tucker's father, Dick Carlson, ran U.S. Senate media propaganda outlet, Voice of America, which coordinates closely with the U.S. intelligence agencies. Maybe that is why he's not being very, what's the word? Not aggressive, but I don't know. It seems kind of weak. Trust me, it sounds a lot more entertaining at 2.5 times speed.
Now, I think if I was still in government and 2 events happened on the same day or within 24 hours of each other, that has sometimes been the hallmark of an organized terror attack, and it's a work.
Especially within when the day. Actually, now I'm thinking were they both on New Year's or one was the day after? I don't even fucking remember. Shout out to Carl's Frosted Tips. Welcome to the party. Said deport Islam. It's a cancer. Oh man. If we could get rid of ideas just out of the zeitgeist like that, I would Thanos snap that shit out of here. Welcome to the party, sir. Dylan said, how many self-radicalized persons just so happen to have FBI ties or magically have an ISIS flag on them? Or were promptly neutralized instead of going into custody. It's just a coincidence, man. It's just, sometimes things happen. Bullshit. And that's why, as we are going on, I'm like, I felt like there was more juice here. But trust me, stick with me. We will switch over if we have to. But you are very right, sir.
That has sometimes been the hallmark of an organized terror attack, and it's a working theory. It's worthwhile to at least look into it. However, what little we know, and we don't know much about the attacker in
Cherry was what?
Las Vegas, he doesn't seem to be of the same political persuasion. Again, we don't know a lot yet of the attacker in New Orleans.
Okay, well, he's not he's not flying an ISIS flag. That doesn't mean they're not connected, and it certainly doesn't mean they have to be connected because they're on the same day. But come on. Hey, calls Frosted Tips. Thank you. Where's my applause? There we go. Thank you. I said bedtime. Oh, you have a good night's sleep, brother. And of course, we feed the co-host, the Overlord, Morty. Thank you. Very, very, very much appreciated. We also got Rhett in action. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you.
Now, you have two possibilities here. One, they're connected, which means that there was an organized effort and somebody missed it. Initial indications are that's probably not the case. The other option is that you've got two independent attacks. If this is really an attack, if it's really political in Las Vegas. What that would tend to tell you is,
And again, Vegas was the Cybertruck.
and especially when you add in the attack or the murder of the United Healthcare CEO, which was clearly in many ways act of political terrorism, is something changing in the political atmosphere, which is already toxic, that is triggering a certain set of our population to say, you know what, whatever my personal beliefs are, they are so pushed to the edge that at this point I feel I've got to execute or make some kind of a violent statement that I've been sitting on for quite some period of time. So I think it's too early to tell. Are we looking at is this sort of the new normal where as politics becomes more toxic in America, that people decide, to take violent action on their own? We do know.
See, this is why we can't have nice things. Because triggering the woke, that's like the best thing you can ever do. But then, come on, man. Why can't we just have fun?
That violent acts tend to open the door to other violent acts. People who are inclined to do these type of things when they see a violent political act will often, see that as like, well, that person can do it, I can do it. We just simply don't know.
So there's no indication that you've seen. Because everything you said suggests you think this is just domestic entirely. There's no foreign actor.
Inspired.
They had an ISIS flag.
So the guy in New Orleans apparently, was consuming ISIS type propaganda, and according to the what's in the papers or the the news media, had produced a couple of videos en route to the attack site making pro-ISIS statements. So in that case, yes, he's inspired by ISIS, a foreign terrorist group, but it doesn't sound like he was getting any direction or had any help, which is.
All right, I'm gonna put up a poll. I misjudged this. I just misjudged this, what he was saying and stuff. So we can stay here. I'm gonna put up a poll, or if you want to jump over to Actual Justice, where you're talking specifically about the connections, and which is still speculation at this point. Let me make that clear. There's nothing that definitively links them together. But he's just kind of flat out saying no, and I'm going to put up a poll. You guys hit the poll.
Its own troubling type of terrorism when they do this on their own and they don't require a conspiracy. It's very hard to catch them.
Of course.
There'd been an early report, that the vehicle involved had come across from Mexico.
Yeah.
That seems to maybe not be true, but it does bring up an interesting point, which is, and part of the reason I think that had a lot of currency. It's very hard to have an effective counterterrorism policy if you don't have border control, because terrorism is about people. It's people who carry it out. In the last 4 years, we've had something like 9 million people show up at our borders unannounced and have been allowed to come in and stay.
Yeah, but they commit less crimes than Americans, so it shouldn't be a problem, right?
9 million people, if you aggregate it out on a monthly basis, is one U.S. Marine Corps worth of people every single month for 4 years.
Welcome.
It's impossible to vet or to know anything meaningful about a Marine Corps' worth of people coming into this country every month for 4 years. As a former intelligence official myself, somebody responsible for counterterrorism operations and intel, if somebody had told me, well, we need you to guarantee that you've got a screening process where we could look at who these people are so we know who we're letting in, that's impossible. You don't even know what these people's real names are. You don't know anything about their backgrounds.
Welcome, everyone.
At those numbers, of course. Like there absolutely is a way to do this stuff properly. And whatever system you have, there's going to be imperfections. There's going to be people who fall through the cracks. But at those numbers, there's just not enough resources.
It's an enormous black hole of information that there's no easy solution. If you're not going to have border controls that are effective, it's very hard to have an effective CT policy.
All right, looks like we're gonna switch over. I will give it 2 more minutes in case we have a rush of people who are really loving where this conversation is going.
Counterterrorism policy.
Counterterrorism.
So, you left in 2017, I think you said.
I did.
But your friends who stayed, who were in counterterrorism, I mean, they must
Your friends
have looked on with horror at this.
I think there've been, I've never heard anybody tell me that if you don't have control of your borders, that you can have good counterterrorism policy. In fact, I remember.
Okay, yeah, he's just giving us platitudes and shit. All right, let's pull an audible, yeah. And shout out to Actual Justice Warrior. And of course, I already hit that like button, just like you guys. We hit the like button on any video we watch. Very much appreciated. Shout out to Actual Justice Warrior. Let me drop the link at least here in the chat. If somebody wants to remind me to put that in the description at some point, or I guess I could just do it right now. Let's do it.
Everyone, my name is Sean, and first things first, right off the top, I just want to say my heart goes out to all the different victims and their families in the city of New Orleans who on New Year's Day suffered a horrific terror attack upon them, and we're going to talk about the facts of that particular case as they are right now. I'm shooting on January 2nd of this year, but we're also going to talk about the new reporting on a connection between those attacks and the attempted attack or successful attack, because something did blow up, of the Cybertruck in front of Trump Tower or in front of the Trump Casino or whatever in Las Vegas, because it turns out that the initial reporting on both of these cases was super sketchy and all over the place and wrong.
Thanks,
and I think we need to explain all the things that we know as of right now. But I want to give the caveat for everybody out there in the audience that information is coming in. So we do expect some things to be wrong initially. So let's not go too harsh on the normal things that got wrong. However, we have to go harsh on all the different various things that were just deliberately misstated and misreported by agents of the federal government. And of course,
He already is. So, if you have no idea, earlier this week, there was a terrorist attack in New Orleans where a dude with an ISIS flag drove his truck through, I don't know if it was Bourbon Street, but one of those areas where people are walking around. And the same day, there was somebody with a Cybertruck that exploded in front of a Trump, I don't know if it was a Trump hotel or some Trump building, and clearly terroristic. Here is a picture of the Cybertruck on the left, and that guy was driving it, and then it was a white guy that you'll see in this. So 2 terrorist attacks and seeing if they are,
of course, by the
connected.
mainstream media. But before we get into that, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com.
Okay, it was Bourbon Street. Thank you, Steven.
/Sean.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay.
So let us start with New Orleans, because this was unfortunately the more effective attack. Reportedly, between 14 and 15 people have been confirmed to have died. Initially, that was 10, but apparently some of the injured ended up passing away. And there was a lot of heartbreaking videos from people that ended up suffering from this attack. But one that really got to me was of a younger man talking about how he believed him and his friends had gotten away. But in reality, he realized that him and one of his friends had gotten away. Another one was actually struck by this vehicle who did not manage to get into cover in time. So let me play a clip of that interview so you can understand the pain that people experience on the ground, because while we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the perpetrators, remember, the victims are real people. They lost family members, they lost friends, they suffered from this, and this is going to impact them for the rest of their lives.
He's coming up all real quick. Let's give a dilly to all those affected. Dilly, R.I.P.
Lost friends, they suffered from this, and this is going to impact them for the rest of their lives.
He's coming up all onto the sidewalk and all that, but by that time we had already made it inside the divot, or is what I thought. Until once we get inside the divot and the car passes, I turn around to look who's all in here, because it was supposed to be 3 of us. I turn around to look who's all in here, and I don't see my friend. And I just,
you can see he's still just I don't want to diagnose it as shock, but he's still just start
screaming and yelling, and I'm like, nah, where are you? And I turn and I look in the street, and her right leg is flipped like horror movie style over her back, and it's just blood.
Again, this kind of thing is devastating, and you can just hear the pain in this person's voice when he's describing what happened to his friend in horrific, grisly detail. So yeah, 14 people ended up being killed. There may be additions to the death count. I've seen a lot of headlines that say 15 people are confirmed dead, but then in the article like this one that I'm citing, it says 14 in the facts. So I just don't want to have everything wrong or let you know that there's information that is not confirmed yet. So stuff may be wrong in this video, but the suspect behind this was a 42-year-old man who, of course, is being described by the mainstream media as your average run-of-the-mill Texas man, an American citizen Texas, even though his name
Was that too fast? Let me know if that's too fast.
is Shamsud Din Jabbar, age 42, and
So that's his name, Shamsud Din Jabbar.
Texas, even though his name is Shamsud Din Jabbar, age 42, and
Good question. But I would, yeah, I guess it would, right?
and witnesses told us very early on that this person was flying an ISIS flag behind their vehicle. And in fact, the flag fell off and people were taking photos of it. So it was known very early on what exactly inspired this attack, despite the fact that we had a representative from the FBI say that this is actually not terrorism right off the bat.
Yeah, that was insane. Like, I mean, the clip is here. So, but if you didn't see it, like when I saw this, I was like, why are you saying this at all? Why are you saying this at all? Gontek said, I heard a good point today. If this was in the name of Islam, what made the guy think he wasn't hitting any other Islamists? Very good point. Very good point. I think if I'm going to put my mind there, I could see a way that they would just be part of the jihad. That like we're doing this, and since I need to get my 72 virgins as well, any other Islamists will get theirs. And I'm doing them a favor. The DEI rep. Yeah, right. Excuse me. Nick said, I'd be surprised if he wasn't in shock to some degree. He's probably also going to have PTSD. I feel for the dude. Yeah. It just it's when you don't see other people as people, it's all too easy to do whatever you want. And this is only due to dogma. Steven said, Islamic terrorists don't have a great track record of avoiding self-casualties. Very true. Very true. King said, POV, would they, or what? Try that one again.
Representative from the FBI say that this is actually not terrorism right off the bat, which is just ridiculous, and we're sick of this nonsensical gaslighting.
Kirkpatrick said, we'll be taking over the investigative lead for this event. This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found, and we are working on confirming if it's a viable device or not. As Chief Kirkpatrick said, we're asking everyone to stay away from Bourbon Street, specifically from Canal Street to St. Anne. That is my ask. Once again, stay away from.
I know what POV stands for. Point of view would be they are part of the cause, no? I guess I misread that. Okay, my bad.
Stupid.
Yes, correct, sir. Correct, sir. My bad. But yeah, absolutely. Guamtech said that's a scary idea. They could even kill their own and think they're actually helping them. Either way, just like every one of these, it doesn't ever add up. And yeah, just like King was saying that I misread. Yeah, they're part of the cause. That's what we're here for. We're here to get rid of the secular world, and that includes Christians, and especially includes Jews. But also definitely includes atheists at the top of the list, which is why we're all in the same boat. Stephen Colbert said the main criticism of Hamas, for example, is that they purposefully use their own for human shields. Yeah, they do not care. They do not care because they believe number one, they believe it's justified. Number two, they believe it's for the overall good. And number three, they believe that all those people are on to the next life. Well, like I said, too many contradicting and convenient information to ever trust this bullshit. And again, that's why I'm like, why did you do this? Like, I guess the idea was like, all right, well, we got to say something. But like, just say we're investigating all avenues. We don't really know yet. Why would you make that claim that, oh, it's not terrorism? Based on what? Because clearly we know that it is. We saw people, we have witnesses that saw the flag. And so when the car was actually hitting the people, the flag had fallen off. So you can see videos where there's no flag, but there's videos from before where the car is speeding down and there is the flag, just like in the thumbnail here. the ISIS flag. So why are we doing this? Who is this for?
Street to St. Anne. That is my ask. Once again, stay away from Bourbon Street, Canal Street, all the way to St. Anne until we can figure out what is going on. Our goal is to provide you additional information at the 11 a.m. press conference.
Now,
Okay, great. We will have more information for you tomorrow at 11. If you don't have the information now, stop pretending to give me information.
like Rayshard Brooks, this was also described as a truck attack, just a fully automatic truck going crazy and attacking people. What are we going to do about trucks on the street? Even though, again, we all understood that there was a high likelihood this was terrorism and a high likelihood this was a form of Islamic terrorism.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Right Click. And the flag was still there. Sorry, King. I think we got a comment of the night. Good one. That's between this one and the troll toll. I don't know. We might have to have a vote on that.
This was terrorism and a high likelihood this was a form of Islamic terrorism, because this is something that we've seen in Europe multiple different times. And unfortunately, there was some reporting early on that we ended up seeing the city of New Orleans, probably for aesthetic reasons, removing the barriers that prevent cars from doing this very thing in that city back in November. And that appears to have increased the carnage that was experienced by people in the city of New Orleans.
Yep. Quantek says the power that be want to make all of America Gotham at this point. Not everyone liked Batman in Gotham either, but he still tried. Just like a certain Oompa Loompa these days. Are you trying to tell me that Trump is Batman? Okay. Never seen him in the same room, right? Oh, man. This one's going over my head. I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. Sorry. Right over my head. Nick said, trying to understand the motives of a madman is futile. There's a better chance of understanding what happened before the Big Bang. Well, hey, we might actually have one day an understanding of that. Motives of a madman? Yeah, never. No. Yeah, never. No. Stephen Colbert said the only obvious connection between the two attacks is that they both use Turo truck rentals. Yep, we will definitely get there. And then at the end, so we put up a poll in the beginning asking if you guys thought they were connected, and 53% of you said no. So we'll do another one after, and we'll see if that changed. Seems like Stephen Comer is a little bit skeptical. Fair enough.
Hey guys, editing Sean here. Well, it turns out the barriers were in fact removed in November, as I just told you. However, it wasn't done because they were trying to clean up the perception and mitigate people's sense that something like this could happen. They were actually done because New Orleans is hosting the Super Bowl in a month. And in reality, what they needed to do was remove and replace these barriers. So again, information coming in, fact checks coming in from me in the editing bay, because I'm really trying not to stoke the flames of conspiracy theory.
And so this is, a good reason why I trust Sean here. But so originally they were saying the barriers that would prevent cars from going down those roads where there are people. Supposedly they'd gotten rid of them to make it look nicer. But that was not true.
In addition to that attack, we also had the reports of a Tesla Cybertruck blowing up. Again, a truck blowing up just randomly outside of a Trump building in Las Vegas.
Y'all know what my first thought was when I seen a Cybertruck blow up. Of course! But then,
now, initially, of course, the press decided to push the notion, because Tesla bad, Elon Musk bad, that this was just a...
No, Tesla good, Elon Musk good, Cybertruck bad.
Battery malfunctioning, and them Teslas, that they're ultra dangerous, and they wanted to, smear Elon Musk, in addition to saying that this was no big deal and completely unconnected, despite the fact that obviously it is very odd for a Tesla Cybertruck to explode in such a big way. And in addition to that, it happened right in front of a Trump building. And in addition to that, it happened on the same day as the New Orleans one. And now, of course, I do want to make something 100% clear for everybody out there in the audience. That last thing that I said about the same day, we have a country of 300 million people. There are plenty of things that occur on the same day that aren't connected. But later on, information started to trickle out that the same rental service, again, this could have been a coincidence, was used to rent both vehicles that were used in both attacks. We also got the video that showed us, obviously, that the vehicle, the Tesla, was filled with explosive ordinances, and it appeared that the driver was inside. So we have two different instances. One looks more political than the other one. And in addition to that, we also have a driver inside, possibly a suicide attack. So it seemed like the likelihood of there being a connection increased as we were going through this particular story. Well,
put a 1 in the chat if you've actually seen the video of the Cybertruck explosion. Or no, scratch that. Put a 1 in the chat if you have not seen it. Put a 1 in the chat if you have not seen the actual video of the Cybertruck going up, because absolutely it does not take much. There's videos all over the place of like garages. There we go. That's the word. Garages getting flooded, and then the battery just goes poof. All right, so we got ones and ones and ones and ones and ones and ones. Let's get it. Cybertruck explosion. Do we trust CNN? All right, CNN.
Officials in Vegas talking now
Let's
about
see.
the Cybertruck attack there at the Trump Hotel. Let's listen in.
As many of you went to sleep last night, and I just want to give you an update on a lot of what it is that we found through the processing of the Cybertruck. This is a joint investigation involving the FBI, the ATF, Las Vegas Metropolitan, the truck pulling onto Fashion Show Drive here. The Cybertruck highlighted there.
Trump something center, and then it goes right in the front.
So through extensive
I was
surveillance,
just gonna say, like, hey, maybe some commentary, so we're not sitting watching dead air.
video, we were able to track him leaving there, and we know that he went to several different places along Las Vegas Boulevard,
Show the thing.
and he
Okay,
spent
here.
some time in the valet area. And as of course you all know, the explosion occurs within 17 seconds of his arrival at the valet.
So that is no saltwater explosion.
Occurs within 17 seconds of his arrival at the valet. There's some additional investigative updates that are going to be provided to you by a couple of the other speakers here. The first of which will be our special agent in charge of the FBI local office.
Oh, great job, guys. Great job. Look at that. CNN at their best. What is this? So that's the guy. If they could get it centered.
Spencer Evans. Spencer.
Good morning. My name is Spencer.
Jesus Christ. So that was the explosion of the Cybertruck. And I was right. That was not any saltwater. So I guess there is, one text said, I saw a video with sound that literally sounded like fireworks, but that was debunked. Oh, that was plenty. There's a plenty more than fireworks in the truck. But yeah, wild shit. It's amazing that, and from the understanding is that it was the 17 seconds after he pulled up, and he didn't get out of the car, so he was in there. Right. So they had one job, and they made it uncensored. What do you mean? We wanted the uncensored. That's exactly what we were looking for. That is the job for once. CNN, or you mean the picture? Yeah. What are you gonna do? Shout out to Fuck Master General. Sorry, Nick. He said, I am the sponsor now. Oh, look at that one. That one's not gonna break. That's a big boy. Yummy. Thank you. Very, very much, sir. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Uncensored. All right, there we go. I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah. One job, guys. One job. At least we got the video. That was the main thing. Thank you again, Funk Master General, the new sponsor of the stream.
Of there being a connection increased as we were going through this particular story. Well, then we end up finding out that both of these men actually lived on the same military base. And while we still don't know right now at this moment whether they knew each other, it seems like both.
We got 5 minutes to hit that goal, guys. 5 minutes, and we gotta bump it up.
Both of them engaging in a terrorist attack on the same day in different parts of the country involving rented vehicles increase the likelihood of that. And now the FBI has changed this from being an event, a truck attack that has no ties to terrorism, despite the ISIS flag that was isolated after they said it was a terrorist attack, to now these are people that are not working alone. And we might have a situation where people have been radicalized. And now they're starting off with these two attacks, which I hope are just two isolated incidents.
I said, shit, me too. But I mean, what are the chances that it just so happens that we get, events like that and then nothing else? You know, it's a scary thought. And again, what the CIA guy was bringing up right before, we jumped off, that 9 million or so people came across the border and we have no idea who they are. Gontek said, why would he just want to send a message instead of something bigger with his death? What do you mean? What would be bigger than blowing up shit in front of? I mean, you mean like 9/11 bigger, or like what exactly do you mean? Shout out to Nick Lucetti said, "Fuck you. I am the sponsor now." There we go. Thank you so very much. And of course, the Overlord appreciates it. Or is that co-sponsors? Are we co-sponsors? 6 and 6, right? We got 6 and 6. No, 6, 2, 4, and 6, 8. Hey, shout out to Nick Lucetti.
They're starting off with these two attacks, which I hope are just two isolated incidents.
New this morning, investigators say a man with ties to Colorado Springs was behind the wheel when that Tesla Cybertruck exploded outside the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. Matthew Livelsberger was killed in that blast. 7 other people were hurt. Overnight, federal investigators were searching a home in the Springs tied to the suspect.
We are also learning about connections between Livelsberger and the man accused of driving down Bourbon Street in New Orleans, purposely hitting people and firing shots into the crowd. Both men were Army veterans, and sources tell Denver 7 investigates that both men served at the same military base at some point.
This morning, we have team coverage starting with Natalie Chuck in Colorado Springs. And Natalie, both men also rented trucks for the attacks from the service called Churro.
So a couple of things I think are incredibly important about this takeaway, about this revelation, that these two guys were at the main military base. And I want to go through them in order from importance. First,
go there. Fuckmaster General said it seems he sent some emails to people talking about the drones and such. Yep. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the answer to everything. The aliens came here, they abducted a bunch of Muslims, then gave them the technology, used the drones to do surveillance, and then blow us all up. That's the plan. That's the plan. It's like I'm just being a sore loser. Hey, I am not complaining, brother. I am not complaining. Steven said, what are the chances of coincidences happening? Seems unlikely. Yeah, right? Oh, come on. It's not like things are coincidental ever. Gontek said, dude had the knowledge to do a lot more damage. Why think so small with that knowledge? Say more. Dude had a lot of knowledge. Where's that coming from? And like if you were saying, like, what is the more damage? Talk to me. Shout out to Matthew King. Welcome to the party. That is supposed to be dead when the truck blew up. He offed himself with a Desert Eagle 50. Stupid. Couldn't even get your own truck blowing up to blow up properly and kill you. Stupid. That's Islam for you. Not Muslims. Islam. The idea, not the people. Welcome to the party.
These two guys were at the main military base, and I want to go through them in order from importance. First and foremost, Natalie Chuck, attractive woman for the local news for Denver.
That's right. Good morning, Nicole and Anusha. Right now, we are coming off of a pretty uneventful evening here at what is believed to be the apartment complex belonging to that driver.
I know. You guys get mad when I do that, but we're just having fun a little bit with a dark story. But in this particular instance, I do want to point out the one that they're covering with the Colorado man who ended up being in the Tesla that blew himself up. It turns out he took his own life, and it appears that all the different media outlets that were talking about the Teslas just blowing up and being inherently dangerous, in reality, the Tesla Cybertruck appears to have shielded most of the outside people from the blast, and that's why we're hearing reports of injuries, and those injuries could be as minimal as some ear pain in association with the explosion, like the sound of the explosion.
So you're telling me that of all the things the Cybertruck can do well, even being a bomb is not one of them. Come on, man. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Blumnick said his uncle came out and said he had the knowledge to do the whole building if he wanted. So I mean, you know, that obviously that's a good question. Without having any insight into what he was thinking, we would have no way of knowing. If I had to guess, I would say that, you know, a lot of these people aren't necessarily you know, balls to, like, they're still Americanized people, and there might be a little less of that aspect of the jihad, and they're not, you know, they're not people, all this kind of stuff. Maybe again, just speculation, but maybe there's a little bit more of the idea of, I want to do whatever I could do to send the message. I don't want, I'm not looking to kill people. I'm just looking to send this message. Clearly, if he could have done the whole building and he wanted to, we might assume that he would have done the whole building. I don't know. Matthew said they put a bomb inside a bullet-resistant box. It probably shielded at least 50% of the boom.
Stupid.
Yup. Word up. All right, back in here.
As some ear pain in association with the explosion, like the sound of the explosion. So,
ooh, what do we got here? Shout out to Funkmaster.
Well, hold on to your rear ends. It is late Friday afternoon.
Apparently, the Cybertruck bomber manifesto. So let's see if we got it.
Mentioned in this specific email that was sent to Sam and apparently some other people. Here's what it says. And it looks like the
shout out to Funkmaster for grabbing
Bonafide, all this stuff from, you know,
Bonafide,
confirming that this email was in fact him, confirming that he was who he said he was. This all looks legitimate. It says, in case I do not make it to my decision point or onto the Mexico border, I'm sending this now. Please do not release this till the 1st of January and keep my identity private until then. Now, I will say this.
I mean, why does the medium, like, if you wrote it in a book in marker, would that not be a manifesto? A manifesto is not a medium. It's an idea. So whether you put it in an email or you put it in a book or you put it in, it's the same thing. I don't think the fact that it's in a book or on a piece of paper changes the definition of manifesto. Shout out to Bryson. Welcome to the party. Well, I mean, when people do these things, they want to send a message. But if you're dead, then you can't clear up the message. So you got to make sure that the message is clear vis-a-vis manifesto. So that way, when you are dead, that everybody knows what is good. Welcome to the party, brother. Zippy says, bulletproof box. If it was metal, it would turn into shrapnel. You're talking about a specific bulletproof box, or are you calling the Cybertruck a bulletproof box? Guamtech said Elon and Tesla said that they are recovering the truck to go over the dash cam. Let's see how truthful they are about what they found. We will see. Shout out to Behave in the building. Welcome. So I'm super sick right now. The drones got me. It's the deep state's fault. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, let's give you a dilly and hope you feel better. Let's give Behave a dilly in the chat. Right click, say, yeah, where's all the womanifestos? Good one. Yeah, I mean, I don't see a difference. If it's an email, if it's in paint, if it's in whatever, it's the idea is the manifesto.
And keep my identity private until then. Now, I will say this. 1 Jan is a weird way to write January 1st for an American. I'm just going through it. I'm reacting to it live, just like you may be. Normally, someone would say Jan 1. Date, then month is like a European thing, but he was stationed in Germany, so I don't know. Maybe it's much ado about nothing.
Germany, where the other attack happened? No, just saying.
But first off, I am not under duress or any hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. Okay. Weird thing to mention, but okay.
Cool flex, bro.
Okay. what we
V6 for verification.
have been seeing with drones, so this is all related to the drones, is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems. So like gravity, anti-gravity propulsion systems powered by aircraft, and most recently China in the East Coast. Now, this is a technology that nobody really knows. Nobody knows if it exists or not. It's, I don't know if the Star Trek Enterprise used gravity. I don't know, because there's no gravity in space. So I don't know. So instead of
See, this is why I don't understand why nobody else does this. It's hard to tell when he's reading versus when he's just commenting on what he's reading because it doesn't move. You guys know when I'm reading something, I'll be like, da, 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 da. Well, blah, blah, blah.
saying gravity, he says gravitic propulsion systems powered by aircraft. Only we and China have this capability. Our OPSEN location for this activity is in the box below.
OPSEN being OPCEN. And what is OPCEN?
China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it's just a show of force.
Oh, OPSEN is a browser-based platform for certifying environmental sensors. Okay.
But this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it's just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they used a balloon for Signet and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comm system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. Well,
yeah, not a reason not to like anybody, but I mean, he's reading fine. I'm just saying, as a production thing, I find it weird that I don't see anybody else, especially because I see a lot of other people using StreamYard and like any kind of setup where it has the square over here and then the big that's going to be StreamYard, and so the buttons are right next to each other. And you could even have a shortcut key. I don't know. It's surprising that people don't do it.
The comm system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. Well, that I probably believe. This is.
I'm just gonna read this because I can't tell. I can't tell what he's saying and what. Okay, so we'll go from what we've been seeing with the drones is operational of the gravitic propulsion systems powered by aircraft by mostly recently China in the East Coast, but through history, the U.S. Only we and China have this capability. Our OPSEN location for this activity is in the box below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it's just a show of force, and they're using it similar to how they used the balloon for I don't know what these are. Signet, SIGINT, SIGINT, and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comms system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft. They are the most dangerous threat to the national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they want it. It's checkmate. The U.S. government needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them, and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere in the East Coast. I've been following for over a week now from likely Homeland or FBI, and they're looking to move on from me and are likely, and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because they know I'm armed and have massive VBIED. Very, very big improvised explosive device. I don't know what BB stands for there. VBIED. I've been trying to maintain a very visible profile and have kept my phone, and they are definitely digitally tracking me. I have a knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during the airstrikes in Nimruz province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the administration, DOD, DEA, and CIA. I guess this goes on. Let's see if he scrolls a little bit. Give me some scroll, baby. There we go. I've been followed. No, we got that. I've been followed for over a week, likely from Homeland or we got that one. I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in the Nimruz province of Afghanistan in 2019 by the administration, the DOD, the DEA, and CIA. So this is what we're picking up. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of CivCas. Again, don't know exactly what that is. 65 were struck because of CivCas. That killed hundreds of civilians in a single day. US 4 continued airstrike. I guess US 4 and 8 continued airstrikes after spotting civilians on the initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all the aircraft at CENTCOM. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with the USFORA and Agent Blank of the DEA, so I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked with General Miller's IO staff in the on this as well as the response to Bala Murgab. Again, don't know what these are. A commander at the time can validate this, so this could be validated. You need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war, because this is a mutually assured destruction situation. For vetting, my LinkedIn is Matt Berg or Matt is blah, 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 on active duty, blah, 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 blah. So that is the manifesto, and that's what happens to my eyes when I try to read tiny print on a screen. What did I miss here? Vehicle board. There we go. I knew the IED was IED, but very big IED. Yeah, and BA said, "Fuck, China poisoned me. China or the deep state." They both would be willing to. Yeah, me neither. Up until this week. Oh my god, these lights and everything. Jesus Christ. Like since the election, I just was not paying attention to anything. I've only just started to pick stuff up, so that's why we're jumping in with this. I wanted to make sure we are good with what's going on and getting back into it. So let's see what else they're saying here.
Monday to talk about this. Some of the connecting the dots stuff is a little out there, but here you have. Let's listen to this part here.
So it's from Tim Kennedy. Are they going to read this?
Tim basically told me this. So I got the POA's number, the public affairs officer, sent it to Jeremy and Tim. He talked to them. And what they wanted us to know was that this guy was an upstanding soldier, an excellent operator, was moving on, was moving towards retirement and moving on to basically enhance the future of warfare. They wanted us to know that. Then the PA officer, sounds like almost jokingly said, which I don't know why you would joke about this, said that, and between us, which why the fuck would a POA?
Okay, so they didn't read that. So Tim Kennedy to who? The other guy? I don't know who this. Oh yeah, to the guy. So if you're gonna do an episode on the Cybertruck SF guy, USA SOC wants to give context as to who he is. I knew Matt. The guy was in good standing. His peeps thought well of him. He's on his way to better stuff. This is he and I going to a shooting competition together. You guys saying Jeremy Watkins. The guy who asked is David Butler. He's an Army PAO, works directly for the Chief of Staff of the Army, 4-star General George. All right, so I don't see what else is going on here. We'll here, so we'll come back to this if we'll finish this and then we'll come back to our boy the quartering if we would like. Thank you for that. Who is that? Funkmaster. Appreciate it. Yeah. It just, you saw how small that was, and I'm trying to read it up on the screen because it was too small here, and then I got 3 lights in my face, so it just. All right. Back in.
And that's why we're hearing reports of injuries, and those injuries could be as minimal as some ear pain in association with the explosion, like the sound of the explosion. So in that particular case, the car that was rented that was meant to be detonated in front of the Trump Vegas building likely ended up being the undoing of that particular person. And when you really think about it, had the vehicles been reversed and the pickup truck been the one that had all that stuff that was in it, all that stuff that was ready to be detonated, then we could have had just as destructive, if not a more destructive attack in New Orleans with the Cybertruck, because
you're not gonna die. Don't put that out there.
Teslas have incredibly fast acceleration due to the fact that they're electric cars and you don't have to wait for the combustion of the engine. And if you're in a flatbed, that explosion could have been much more devastating and hurt a lot more people. So things could have been worse with a few changes in the situation that these guys had set up. So I'm going to be happy about the results of this. And obviously the guy who took his own life before the explosion, he should have just taken his own life and not tried to hurt additional people if that's what he was going to do.
So we're split here. We're split. I mean, well, technically we're 60-40 because we're 50-50 on is this an X shirt? It looks like it, but if you look at the actual X logo, then it's not connected in the middle there. Like, it's not connected here. But his is connected. I don't think it is. I don't think it is a thing. An X shirt.
His own life and not try to hurt additional people if that's what he was going to do. Obviously, I don't root for people to do self-harm, but the fact of the matter is, stop with the harming of others. Honestly, just take care of yourself, not other people, not targeting other people. Don't hurt other people. And again,
I mean, I can see like some YMCA type looking deal, not the YMCA, but something like that with a Y, but.
And it's really troubling that military trained people that we train theoretically to fight terrorist organizations, appear to be embracing terrorist tactics. And by the way, the guy in the Tesla instance that may or may not be connected to the ISIS-inspired attack.
Well, thank you for your service, sir. What would we do without you and this knowledge?
Doesn't appear to have an Islamic background. He looks like the most white guy to ever white guy, which also is very troubling if we're talking about even these people getting radicalized by ISIS propaganda.
Of the Cybertruck that exploded.
And what were we talking about? I forget the exact context. Oh, I'll redo the goal. What were we talking about? Oh, it was the last stream where we were talking. I was talking in the All Really podcast stream back in the day. And I was talking exactly about Islamic or Islamist propaganda. And here we are 8 years later. And I was right again.
Getting radicalized by ISIS propaganda.
Of the Cybertruck that exploded in Las Vegas, but now we are seeing some activity. We were all just asked to leave the area and move down the hill a couple of blocks. You can see law enforcement behind me actively blocking off Autumn Knoll Drive right behind us. A couple of blocks up and to the left is where that complex is that they are looking at. Originally, law enforcement just had a single set of units blocked off, but now, as you can see, it is that whole entire neighborhood. People are beginning to wake up as the sun starts to come up, people walking their dogs, and this is what they are waking up to on the second day of 2025. Now, I want to give you a look at how far that Cybertruck traveled. One possible route from the address here in Colorado Springs to the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas can be seen on your screen. That's more than 800 miles. It's about a 12-hour drive. I did
for a Tesla.
Speak with a neighbor here who says she never noticed a Cybertruck in the area. She says it's something that typically would stick out. And again, like you mentioned earlier, those trucks, both this truck, this Cybertruck, and the truck involved in the New Orleans attack are believed to have been rented from an app called Turo that is used to rent out personal cars.
So look, the local news report.
He's got me. Right click. So do you believe uninformed people should vote? No, I do not. But, well, actually, on what? Vote on what? For president? No. On my polls? Absolutely.
Reporting that we're getting as of right now was released only a couple of hours before I'm shooting this video.
And guys, I did start we missed the first goal, but that is all right. We have a new goal set up. That is just a stock pick. Check out the goal there. And let's get swole.
Reporting that we're getting as of right now was released only a couple of hours before I'm shooting this video, and I'm sure there's more up-to-date information, and I will be looking through it throughout the editing process to refresh you on anything and everything that comes up that contradicts the facts in this particular video. But I want you guys, again, to understand that the facts are evolving. The information is coming out slowly, so obviously we're going to have changes on specific particular things. So if there's some things that are wrong in this video, I tried to wait the extra day to get more information. Don't kill me too much on it, but I do find it interesting that nobody in this particular area seems to have noted a Cybertruck there, and that if this person did rent and leave from Colorado Springs, it would have taken 800 plus miles, because this means that this person likely had to go through all these different Tesla charging stations in order to make the journey, because the maximum range of what I believe is the triple motor Cybertruck
is not a lot.
Is in and around a little bit over 300 miles on a single charge, but it is far more likely, although this information has yet to be revealed, that this particular Cybertruck was a model that had less motors, so it had less of a range, and in addition to that, the battery performance on a Tesla can vary.
I was just gonna say, I wonder how, like, to fully charge one of these cars from 0 to 100 takes a long time.
Based on the temperature, based on whether or not it's above or below 60 degrees. So we might have bare minimum 3 to 4, but even upwards of 5 stops at different various charging stations that likely have surveillance video that can give us an idea of what this person was doing along the way. And we should wait on that information before we make any claims or make any firm assertions. We can make all the claims that we want or all the guesses that we want. But again, it is an ongoing developing situation. Now, of course, in Bourbon Street back in New Orleans, apparently they did open up that particular street, and that was described as uneventful. And I do believe that's a good thing. It is important for people to go back to these places that are impacted by terrorism.
He means after the fact. After the fact, they open it back up.
And basically say, we're not going to stand for that. We're not going to be terrorized. But the fact of the matter is, this is something that the American people haven't really had to deal with. Obviously, we've had terrorist attacks, a very famous one in New York City in 2001. But this is something that we haven't had to deal with in terms of the truck attacks, because these feel more like European-style actions. But again,
yep. Bryson said, it is troubling that anyone embraces Islamic ISIS propaganda. How do we know that for sure? Can there be any other reasons to consider not embrace Islam or ISIS ideology or perspectives? How do we know what for sure? Can there be any other reasons to consider? Meaning other than the propaganda? I mean, you could, believe nothing except that anything is possible. So he definitely could have had an ISIS flag to try to throw everybody off the case. And, like the German attack that we were talking about, it was an atheistic anti-Islam attack. I mean, it's very possible that that's exactly what happened here. And he just wanted to throw everybody off by putting an ISIS flag. But, Occam's razor tells us that if you fly an ISIS flag and then you go commit terrorism, that the terrorism is probably because of the ISIS ideology. Other reasons that why they embrace the ideology, I could not tell you. It definitely has something to do with purity culture. It definitely has something to do with the way that like society is, doesn't cater to men in the same way that it used to, for better or worse. I'm just saying that it is. So why they embrace it, I don't know. But the fact is, it's out there. People embrace it, and that is the #1 global issue. Yep. Yeah, good questions. Very good questions. And, questions, if we had the answers, we could stop a lot more of this bullshit. So asking the right questions, sir.
In terms of the truck attacks, because these...
Nick said, in general, you can expect an 80% charge in approximately 30 minutes. Are you sure about that? I feel like I heard different. I don't know. You guys know I'm biased super heavy against the Cybertruck, but I'll take your word for it.
Had to deal with. Obviously, we've had terrorist attacks, a very famous one in New York City in 2001. But
wait, what's he talking about?
This is something that we haven't had to deal with in terms of the truck attacks, because these feel more like European style actions. But again, it is a very troubling sign right at the start of the new year that these things have occurred. Obviously, there was a political motivation or something behind the Tesla being specifically used in front of the Trump thing. And of course, the mainstream media has been absolutely horrible in describing this, talking about how a renegade truck just started attacking people in the city of New Orleans, not mentioning the Islamic terror motivation, and then describing the Cybertruck over in Vegas as just a malfunction of the Cybertruck. Gosh, isn't Elon Musk scum? Let's take this opportunity in order to drive down the price of Tesla stock because we hate Elon Musk for buying Twitter. But
buy Tesla, not financial advice.
Yeah, this is where we're at as of right now. Again, as more information comes in, you will have certain facts in this video changing. Try not to jump to crazy conspiracies, but it appears in this particular instance, we do have the makings, or at least some information to indicate a conspiracy, because both of these people appear to be connected as of right now, and they attacked on the same day, and it seems like a lot of coincidences. Hey guys, editing Sean here once again, and I need to make something 100% clear for everybody out there in the audience. During the course of filming this this video, I actually believe that the military base connection was far more firm because, again, the initial reporting was not 100% clear on this. But it turns out, as of right now, they both did serve at Fort Bragg, which I believe was renamed something else after George Floyd. However, there is no indication at all whatsoever that they served at the same time.
So, in case you're just listening, it says suspects in Vegas explosion, New Orleans attack served at same Army base, police confirmed. Authorities said Thursday the two men likely overlapped at Fort Bragg and again in Afghanistan, but there was no evidence suggesting that they knew each other. So again, just, parsing this as we go. Not a typical thing that I do on this channel, but, ain't nothing much going on, so I'm diving into the headlines. He said, I believe the conspiracy. That's the way to go. That's the way to go. As long as you question first, then, hey.
So this actually is likely more of a coincidence now with that additional information, because all of a sudden the connections are really just that loose. And it could be the reason why they use this Turo app, which is essentially Airbnb for vehicles, is because that, for whatever reason, is the most convenient or popular thing in their respective geographic areas in order to obtain the specific vehicles that they were looking for these instances.
Yeah, so, as I apologize, I forget who brought up earlier that, yes, they did use the same thing, but so far, it seems to be like there's a lot of connections, but not anything direct. Shout out to Funk Master General coming in with another $2, making me holla. Thank you, sir. Very, very, very much appreciated. Did you just tie? Let me see. We got 2, 4, 6, 8. We got a new code. Sponsor of the stream. Nikki's coming for you. He's coming for you. Thank you very, very much.
And this could be easily proven to be true, because if you've ever rented a car, you'll select something or the equivalent of that thing, and chances are you don't actually get the specific model that you're looking for, and you get something in a different class. And I guess when you're looking for a Tesla Cybertruck, specifically in the Vegas incident, you want a Tesla Cybertruck. That being said,
you never want a Tesla Cybertruck.
It is clearly and obviously possibly a suitable alternative to get any other pickup truck besides the Ford one used. But again, these coincidences actually seem more coincidental as time goes on. So I've actually edited out some more speculative pieces of information from this video because facts are continuing to come in. Remember that anybody who asserts anything harsh to the affirmative without all the information should be taken with a grain of salt. And included in the people that should be taken with some degree of a grain of salt are me.
And me
specifically, because I was wrong-headed in certain parts of this video when I was initially shooting. I happened to catch it during editing, but I'm sure more and more information will come out between this point in time and publishing this video that will also contradict other things. So again, wait for the facts, double check the facts, triple check the facts. If it's leaning in a direction you're already predisposed to believe, then guess what? Quadruple check those facts.
Fuck, if Nick had any hair left, it'd be turning gray. Oh, man.
Now, of course, I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Obviously, if there's a way to help the victim specifically of the New Orleans attack, then
all right. So that's basically the the direct connections there. Not super, again, not super obvious that there is a specific connection, but there are definitely overlapping things, and we are in a state of so let's see. Let's hop back over to our boy Jeremy of the Coterie, and thank you again to Funkmaster for the link here. And let's see what they say.
Which why the fuck would a POA officer say between us? I mean, if
and again, if you guys could help me out with these military abbreviations, that would really help. I don't know, they use so many. So many. I did bring this up, right? They're both MK Ultra for national security. I believe it.
they didn't want us to know that information, and they just wouldn't have told us that. But they wanted us to know, obviously, that the DNA with his supposed child was not a match. And so I think what they were trying to do.
So they're trying to say that his new kid wasn't his, and that's what drove him to this.
Basically make this out to be, oh, this is why this happened. He got bad news that that's not his child, and so that's why he did it. But with all the other context, especially with the 2019 incident, which was obviously a cover-up, I think that has a major role in this. The other thing is, I started receiving a lot of messages.
I'll let you watch, obviously, you should watch his whole show. He spends an hour with this guy.
That's
I'm
what
just
we gotta
condensing
do.
it down. Hopefully he'll be on. Like I said, make sure you follow Quartercast because he should be on Monday. Hopefully, or sometime next week. He says he's willing to come on. The drone stuff is wild.
Inside the cab did not match the DNA of his child. All right. We also know that there was no, they said he was shot by a Desert Eagle. We know that there was no signature when it rolled up. So nobody shot themselves when it rolled up to it. You would have seen a large signature. Mr. Guns and Gear, he's on X. He goes into this a lot in depth. He's a firearms expert and he talks about this.
Right.
There's no signature. So this is what happens. You get a Tesla.
All right, so we'll see. Okay, let's finish with what they're saying. He's gonna crop some up, and then we'll hop over to the actual Sean Ryan show and pick through and see what we got.
He's a firearms expert and he talks about this.
Right.
There's no signature. So this is what happens. You get a Tesla because you know it can drive itself up to the hotel, the Trump Tower. You put a body in it, roll it up. It's already burned up. Or it's already shot, excuse me.
Yeah.
You don't want to kill anybody because that's not the message you're trying to send. You're not trying to
There you go, Globtech.
level the tower or kill a bunch of people. So you load it up with fireworks and a bunch of junk to send a message.
Exactly.
And we know that his signal number or his signal.
This part.
Yeah. So okay, as he's saying that, that was kind of the half-baked thought in my mind. Is that's a different message. That's a different message. That blowing up a building to kill people, and blowing up a car to show that you can blow up a car. Those are two different messages. And so it does seem like the idea here was to merely send a message to bring attention to all of those things that he was talking about in the email and not kill people. And again, the idea is that if the things he talked about in the email are so important to him and he goes out and murders everybody, then, it's not going to bode well for anybody who is or who he thinks is going to be sympathetic to the cause. Hey, we got our boy Nick who got another, no question, no comment, just pure love of the game. Said it is mine. I am the sole sponsor of this stream. Hell yeah, Nick. Thank you so very, very much, brother. Very much appreciated.
Exactly.
And we know that his signal number or his signal
This part was
safety
huge, too.
number changed. That can't be done unless you're inside.
Wait, his what number?
Part was
safety
huge too.
Number changed.
Signal meaning the app?
That can't be done unless you're inside that Signal account. And a lot of people conjecture was the FBI inside a Signal account, whatever else. But what if he accidentally changed his safety number, goofed up there? He rolled a body up in a Tesla, specifically because a Tesla can drive itself up to the tower, and did what he did to send a message to expose this stuff. And he's still alive out there somewhere.
I mean, that would be a wild theory, but it's just as wild as literally every other theory out there. Like perhaps, he is still alive. This is as bizarre as can be. This email makes no sense to me. Shout out to obviously the work that Sam Shoemate did, and of course Sean Ryan. Make sure you subscribe to this.
All right, so let's check that out. And we'll see what they got. What have you got here? Let's pop in.
And then additionally, there are a few names too, I believe.
So I'm gonna since we have so much here, and maybe I should have started with this in the first place. Of course, we're gonna hit the like button there. I do see a highlight here, so we will hit that before. Is that the actual email? Okay, that's the email. So yeah, let's just let it roll, and we'll see how far we get. Bryson said, "Is Timothy McVeigh still alive?" Not supposed to be, right? But I don't know. Well, yeah, they say that they executed him, but gotta trust the government on that one.
Additionally, there are a few names too, I believe, that we are redacting from this because they are still operational. And as much as I would love to release those names, we're not gonna do it so that those guys can remain undercover and not burn their entire operation of what they're into right now. And there was one more thing. I want to give a little background on you. Retired from the Army in 2023 as a CW2 intelligence officer.
I'm gonna assume he's just he's legit if we're reading down his military stuff, and he's on this podcast.
One other thing that I just wanted to say to the audience is, even though we are redacting these names from the episode, you pass that, I believe you passed that email on to the FBI.
Yes.
We're also going to pass it on to our contacts at the FBI. It's very obvious that people know it. Like I said, the CID has been telling everybody. In fact, we talked to Jeremy, who's sitting over there, my producer, me, him, and my attorney, Tim Parlatore. We're up till about 10:30 last night talking to the chief of staff?
The Army Chief of Staff.
The Army Chief of Staff's POA took a major interest in this as well. And, you know, one of the things that he said, I'll wait till later to bring that up, but I don't know. I don't trust any of these people. I mean, public affairs officers.
I said, shit, me too. Funkmaster over here living next to Timothy McVeigh. You know, his what was that? That's the, he used like fertilizer, right? Is that the joke there? I think that was, I think Timothy McVeigh was 89, right? I was born in 89. So it's like right on stuff that I should know, but I'm justified enough.
Are there to,
I'll keep my mouth.
Create
PAO is there to protect the command.
Yeah.
100%, nothing else.
Yeah.
They're not there to shed transparency on anything. They're there to protect the command.
Let's recreate what the story is. But, and you know what's interesting? Fuck it, I'm just going to say it. You know what he said? He goes, on the call, he said, I didn't talk to him. I didn't want to talk to him. but so had them talk to him. He said, between me and you guys, this guy's DNA didn't match his son, and made it sound like it's some big secret. Then at 9:34 p.m., I think it was 9:34 p.m., the New York Post had a headline that said that so they're trying to make it sound like this guy did this because maybe he found out the son wasn't his, but there's a lot more to the story, as you'll find out. So yeah.
Okay.
So let's go to you, Sam. Tell me how you got the email.
All right. So for context, I've run this account for the last 4.5 years. There have been people in and out writing articles and different stuff and just investigations, some big, some small, just trying to keep accountability in the military, but developed a robust network within the military, all branches, and people feed into this and send me messages and here and there. Nothing ever like this has ever come in. But well, it started off as comments. So when you have a big Instagram account, you're going to miss a lot of messages because people message
flex,
go to hidden messages and everything else. You miss a lot of stuff. Well, I kept seeing this.
Or is that more categorized as a humble brag?
Comment on recent posts that I put in there, and it was from this burner account that said, hey, check your DMs, check your DMs, check your DMs. So I go in there and try to find it. There's no message from this guy, hadn't come through or whatever. And then he messages again once that message was opened up. And I said, hey, your previous messages haven't come through. What do you want to tell me? And he said, what I'm going to send you. Now, these are literally his words. What I'm going to send you is going to change the course of humanity. That was his phrase. Change the course of humanity. Okay. A little bit dramatic. I get these messages all the time. People have this big story they want to tell. They want to expose their command, whatever. I take everything with a grain of salt until I have evidence and proof. So this guy's insistent. He tells me that he is a 18 Zulu who I've spoken to before.
What does that mean?
And he really needs,
like, there should be, because I get that a lot of military people watch this show. And so it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to stop every time and do it. But at least the first time you use it in the podcast, at least put a little thing. 18 Zulu means this. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't know what I still don't know what a POA. I don't know what any of that shit means. Shout out to Guns and Cafe. Welcome to the party. Very, very, very good to see ya. Always a pleasure.
A 18 Zulu who I've spoken to before, and he really needs to get this stuff to me. And then he talks about you. He says, I need you to get me in contact with Sean Ryan. I'm like, dude, I don't know Sean Ryan. I'm not that big.
You do now.
But he's insistent that I get him diverted to media sources, says go to Fox News, whatever else. And I said, all right, tell me what you got. So I give him my Proton email account, give him my signal number. And he reaches out immediately. And I'm going to read this initial message for you because this doesn't have names or anything else on it. But this was his message on Sunday.
Thank you, Guns. See, that's all they had to do. Thank you, sir.
Reached out and said, like I said, this last Sunday, he said, sending with a VPN active on Wi-Fi only. Do not message me. I will send out updates via both signal and email, but trust me, you're going to want to be involved. Well, first of all, no, I didn't want to be involved. Anyways. And then, so I didn't message. I responded back to his original Instagram message. And I said, hey, I got your message on Proton Mail. And he said, cool, delete this. So I deleted it. That's how I ended up getting this message on Tuesday. So the message that this right here, this manifesto, if you want to call it that, came in on Tuesday.
Probably not. All right.
And when I started reading this, my initial take was, okay, this is off the deep end. It's bonkers. I can't validate or verify any of the stuff in this manifesto. And I told him that in a subsequent email. And I'll read that to you later, my response to him. And once again, my response to him elicited, hey, get me in contact with Sean Ryan, Fox News.
Shout out to Guns and Cafe. What would we do without him? PAO is Public Affairs Office. Thank you.
And he even said Pete Hegseth. Get me in contact with Hegseth. And I'm like, dude, I don't have the incoming Secretary of Defense's phone number. Sorry, bro. That's the last time I talked to him. So yesterday morning.
What date was that?
That was Tuesday. That was this Tuesday. So we're Friday now. That was 3 days ago.
So
the day before.
30th?
Yeah, the day before the attack. I dismissed the stuff out of hand.
The 31st. Was on the 31st.
Yes. In fact, I posted something on my...
And you would normally, if you're not, I mean, again, I'm not very familiar with the Sam Shumate guy, but if this is a regular type of thing, then, you know, as he was saying, you know, you got to take everything with a grain of salt because everybody wants that attention. But the other side of that is understanding that, like, okay, this is probably fake, but I got to follow up on it anyway.
I told your producer about this as well, but this was a post I made on Twitter. I was just trying to be humorous, off the cuff. It was. I didn't mean anything about it. I was just being humorous for my audience. I said, my inbox was especially eventful today. Allegations of war crimes, government anti-gravity technology, and fears about being tracked and watched by the feds. It's always, the world is ending and I have this information that needs to get to the media, and never, how you doing, brother? Everything all right? I was just playing off of a meme. It was just supposed to be a joke. That was the body of his email that he sent me. And I didn't think anything about it. I didn't know who Matt Berg was, Matt Livelsberg, or anything else. He told me who he was in the email. He pointed me to his LinkedIn account. I didn't know any of this stuff. And I was just kind of being humorous with my audience. Like, I get these crazy messages sometime. And then the day after that message, I wake up and my buddy was like, hey, Sam, nobody in the community seems to know this guy. Do you happen to know who he is? And I played that for you before we came up here. Just absolute shock. That's how I woke up yesterday.
Do you want to play it now?
Let's do it.
Excuse my language. I was definitely in shock. Let me find this chat. So
let's see. Find
Instagram account. You don't have that email address. Us.
I'm in a military.
They actually do.
He says at Sam. Nope. Nobody I've asked in the community knows him. You is at 846.
Okay, slow again. Let's slow down. When you're reading, we're not reading what you're reading, people.
Corey. He says at Sam. Nope. Nobody I've asked in the community knows him. You is at 8:46 a.m. yesterday. So I woke up and I said, "OF, I'm shaking." This guy emailed me 2 days ago. I'm not playing. And then he said, damn. And then this was my response to him at 8:48. Like, just woke up.
I'm fucking shaking, bro. You don't understand. This guy emailed me and told me he was being watched by the FBI and Homeland Security, but they weren't going to do anything to him because he had a VBID. I'm not fucking playing, dude. I have the email.
Guns Cafe. Do we know what a VBID is?
I'm shaking, man. This is nuts.
VBID stands for Value-Based Insurance Design. A health policy. Is this the same thing? Health policy reform strategy that aims to encourage patients to use services that are more likely to benefit them. Okay.
Shaking, man. This is nuts.
I mean, the context means like, or the context sounds like it's like, yo, this guy's got like a whole plan.
And it goes from there. And I sat there for probably an hour talking to my wife. I'm shaking. I can't even think straight. Like, normal day is shot, and I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Oh, okay. And so we had that before. Shout out to Jav. Because I'm just thinking, you know, VBID. I had the IED in my head, and that's a very big, but vehicle, there you go. Very big interracial dick. You don't know what you talking about. Hey, you're not supposed to tell anybody about that. Got that one. Yeah, that one. I got that. Thank you. The captions to be off.
I'm shaking. I can't even think straight. Like,
okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Normal day is shot, and I didn't know what I want to do. Do I sit on this? Do I do nothing with it? I've got to tell somebody. I've got to tell the FBI at least, because this is huge. This is all over the news. And then I was like, well, dude, this guy wanted to get in contact with Sean Ryan, so let me get this to Sean Ryan, see if I can get with him. And I had a buddy who knew your producer, and we went from there. But
wow. Do you want to read the email?
Yep. So this email came in on December 31st at 10:42 a.m.
Okay, so we already read this. I'll speed this up in case you didn't hear it. We'll just have him.
That is Tuesday. He said, in case I do not make it to my decision point or onto the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 January and keep my identity private until then. First off, I'm not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. What we have been seeing with drones, he puts that in quotes, he says drones, is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China and the East Coast, but throughout history, the US. Only we in China have this capability. Our OPSEN, that's Operations Center, our OPSEN location for this activity is in the box below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they used the balloon for SIGINT and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comm system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate. U.S. government needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them, and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere in the East Coast. I've been followed for over a week now from likely Homeland or FBI, and they are looking to move on me and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because they know I am armed and I have a massive V-bid.
Very big international. What was it? What was the one I said before? I don't know. I knew what IED meant.
Let me pause right there for a second. So he said
very big IED.
The massive V-bid. When I was talking to the FBI yesterday, they didn't know what a V-bid was. I had to explain what that acronym meant, literally.
Well, I guess I'm not the only one, right? Yeah, like yeah, exactly. Why can't we just fucking call it a car bomb? Because then they'll serve you, a drink with. I tried, but it wasn't there. Guns and Cafe said Sean posted that he's gone off the grid for a few days. Probably smart. Especially when we don't know who's good with what going on. Probably smart. Probably very, very smart. Bryson said, strange how words are used and definitions of them are altered. Semantic obfuscation at all levels. Jeff said Sean has had several former special ops guys talking about devices the military uses that manipulate gravity. Gravitic, yeah. And I mean, it seems based on the like all of the disconnected anecdotal advice that people have. It does seem like there's something like that around. To what extent? Who's in control of it? Is it of this world? Is it of this country? Is it where? That we have no idea. But it does seem like gravity propulsion type stuff is real and like used. All right, where are we?
You fucking the FBI yesterday. They didn't know what a VBID was. I had to explain what that acronym meant. Literally,
you fucking serious?
Dead serious. I said it twice, and he goes, "You said that word VBID. Can you tell me what that is?" For your audience, a VBID, for your audience who has not been in the GWAT for the last 20 years, a VBID is a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. In layman's terms, a car bomb, what we saw at Trump Tower. So backing up, he says, I am armed and have a massive VBID. I've been trying to maintain a very visible profile and have kept my phone, and they are definitely digitally tracking me. Here's where he gets into the other stuff. And this is where we had to redact the names. Well, your producer redacted the names. I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in Nimruz province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the admin, DOD, DEA, and CIA. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of civcast. That's
we're gonna get a definition for this one. All right.
Of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of civcast. That's
civilian casualties.
Civilian casualties.
Yeah, got him. All right. Okay.
25 buildings. 65 were struck because of civcast. That's civilian casualties that killed hundreds of civilians in a single day. U.S. FORA continued strikes after spotting civilians on initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft in CENTCOM. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with U.S. FORA, an agent, redacted, of the DEA. So I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked with, redacted, IO staff on this as well as the response to Bala...
Not redacted. General Miller's...
Murgab. Redacted, commander at the time, redacted, can validate this. You need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war because this is a mutually assured destruction situation. Then he says, for vetting, my LinkedIn is Matt Berg or Matthew Livelsberger, an active duty 18 Zulu out of 110, that's 1st Battalion 10th Special Forces Group. My profile is public. I have an active TSSCI with UAP, USAP access.
What is USAP? Do you know what that is?
I don't know what that is. But I checked his credentials on LinkedIn. So that was the first thing I did. I went to his LinkedIn page. First thing I noticed was all of his bona fides were in place. He has all the UAS training from USASOC and everything else. And so I said, okay, at least the guy knows what he's talking about with drones. That was a very rough dig into the guy. But my issue was I couldn't validate or verify any of this information. And I told him that. And how I responded to him was in a subsequent email. I said, this is obviously a very big deal, but I don't have anything to verify this information with. Talking about gravitic propulsion systems without evidence just makes me another UFO talking head. Like, I'm not going to go on my social media page and start talking about UFOs and anti-gravity systems and everything. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't. And he said, can I get on Fox News Contact on Signal as well as Sean's show? Hegseth would be good too. That was his last message to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, what is a gravitic propulsion system?
Propulsion based on gravity, I would suspect. But so let's stop there. And what kind of, based on, okay, we read the email. We have the lead up from, at least from his perspective, and we have the actual event. What is that? I feel like there should be some type of narrative to grab onto, and it just feels very amorphous. And I absolutely understand that this is a few days out, and it's, you know, a natural desire to want to have, oh, this happened. I get that. We're still in speculation, but I am trying to speculate, and I'm not 100% where it's going. Is this guy completely crazy? Is this more evidence / proof of this type of transportation, all that kind of stuff? Definitely some Area 51 shit.
To be honest with you, it is a fancy term you're going to find in science fiction. You won't find it in any, as far as I know, you won't find this in any kind of official manual or,
unless you talk to Bob Lazar.
Scientific research. This is all science fiction. So, but what struck me is his use, what strikes me now, not then, but what strikes me now is his use of a very specific term that nobody else call it. If you asked me, I would say an anti-gravity propulsion system. That's how I would describe it.
Gravitic.
Right, because I don't know this stuff. He said gravitic propulsion system.
We looked that up last night too, and all we could find was same thing, science fiction type stuff. But, there are some things that line up. One is, like I'd mentioned, well, let's talk about the guy's story. Obviously, he had a VBID. Obviously, he was in the military and
see, even then they messed up the fucking thing.
Served. And the thing that he was talking about in 2019, we pulled a report. This is from October 9th, 2019, UN report.
So this is nearly before COVID lockdowns. This is back in the before time.
Alleged drug facilities were not lawful target airstrikes caused significant civilian casualties. The United Nations Special Report, which examines the impact on civilians of the United States airstrikes on alleged drug processing facilities on 5 May 2019 in Afghanistan, determines the operation caused a large number of civilian casualties. The report also examines the legal framework applicable to this incident. In June 2019, the UN Assistance Mission in Afghanistan, together with representatives of the Afghanistan Independent Human Rights Commission, conducted a site visit to areas impacted by the strikes in
I thought he was going to say Area 51.
Farah Province, Bakwa District, as part of its extensive fact-finding into the 5 May incident. The UN verified 39 civilian casualties, among them 14 children, 1 woman, from multiple airstrikes on more than 60 sites that the United States, Afghanistan identified as drug production facilities in Bakwa District. And
gotta protect those puppies. Just said Sean had one guy on, a ranger, talking about running into military guys in Central America using some kind of sled that defies gravity. What? He tied the activity into human movement. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. It sounds wild. That sounds wild. And I'm very much a scientific person. I'm very much a skeptic. I'm very much I don't believe you until I have reason to. But there's a level of, again, just coming back to reasonable speculation that this type of thing does not exist just because we haven't seen it seems a little closed-minded. Am I saying, oh, no, definitely these things exist? No, of course not. But when I hear a story like that, my first instinct isn't to be like, that didn't happen. I don't know about you guys. That is not my first instinct.
And in parts of neighboring Delaram district of Nimraz province. Moreover, the UN is working to verify credible reports of at least 37 additional civilian casualties, the majority of whom were women and children. Although airstrikes on the alleged drug processing facilities had taken place before, this was the first time that UNAMA had received reports of large number of civilian casualties resulting from such an operation. And it goes on.
All right, so I'm going to skip forward. I want to see what they have to say about this text exchange that we saw.
And that you had received a message from somebody that says nobody's heard of this guy. Tim sent me a picture of him shooting with this guy.
And in case you're not familiar, Tim Kennedy is, I believe he was either in the Army or Marines. I believe it was Army. I mean, unless there's a different Tim Kennedy that is a big military guy. Former UFC fighter. So I would assume it's the same guy. But don't take that with a grain of salt. Sorry. I don't know. I'm off. Guns and Cafe said, interesting how all the drones over New Jersey seem to just disappear. Oh, they didn't disappear. They're still out there. They're still out there. We just, like what I was saying before, we just stopped talking about it. Earlier when we were still talking with Tucker and the CIA guy, that's exactly what we were saying about the JFK files, 9/11 files. Like, just don't say anything, or put out little pieces of information, and then people just forget about it. People just forget. Red Click said, "It's absolute hubris to think we know all the secrets of physics and the universe." Bingo. Indeed. Very much agree. Yeah, that's what I assume. Unless there's another Tim Kennedy out there doing the same shit, which there might be, but who knows? All right, let's see, because we did see all this stuff, but we didn't get any context.
And I don't know if I should release that photo or not, but Tim basically told me this. So I got the POA's number, the public affairs officer, sent it to Jeremy and Tim. He talked to them, and what they wanted us to know was that this guy was an upstanding soldier, an excellent operator, was moving on, was moving towards retirement and moving on to basically enhance the future of warfare. They wanted us to know that. Then the PA officer, sounds like almost jokingly said, which I don't know why you would joke about this, said that, oh, and between us, which why the fuck would a POA officer say between us? I mean, if they didn't want us to know that information, then they just wouldn't have told us that. But they wanted us to know, obviously, that the DNA with his supposed child was not a match. And so I think what they were trying to do is basically make this out to be, oh, this is why this happened. He got bad news that that's not his child, and so that's why he did it. But with all the other context, especially with the 2019 incident, which was obviously a cover-up, I think that has a major role in this. The other thing is,
this is really cool. So I've already, I mean, I would assume you have to reload the page, but everything that we've watched in part or in full is in the description of the video. I definitely suggest taking the time to check this out in full. And it's a shame if I'd seen this earlier, because Nordic Born at 7:30. Show starts at 8. 7:30 was like, oh, you should check this out before the stream. I'm like, well, that's what the Discord. Let me know, so I got a time. And I couldn't. If it was at 6:30, I would have had enough time to switch over. But once I have the stream set up and the thumbnail and the description, there's just not enough time. Not enough time, guys. 4 minutes left on the second Swogo. The second Swogo. Jeff said the bona fides, or is it actually bona fides? Is that a different thing? Because I heard him say that. I don't know if he was just saying that or if that's actually how they pronounce it. The reputation of the guy supposedly in the Tesla seems legit. Sounded like he might have been a solid dude until he wasn't. Right? Come here, Bubs. There's my co-host. I need my co-host. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, indeed, it is, sir. A snafu of all snafus.
I think that has a major role in this. The other thing is, I started receiving a lot of messages from one of the redacted names, who's a DEA agent, the one that he's talking about in the email to you. We got it from multiple sources, one of which was actually a videographer for me, I think 4 years ago. He worked for me a very short period of time. I had to let him go.
Wait, what's on YouTube? He said, yes, same guy. I meant from the news. What do you mean? I don't know what those mean.
He joined the Army, went to OCS, became an Army officer, sent me a text, super freaked out. Apparently he was on some rafting trip with somebody that knows the
I thought that sentence was going to go in a very different direction because I am still a drug addict. Apparently he was on some real hard shit.
Apparently he was on some rafting trip with somebody that knows the DEA officer and said, hey, this guy's still operational. He wants his name redacted.
Wow.
Okay, I think I'm. Did we cover that, or just you're saying in general in this conversation he talks about it? Again, I mean, yeah, it's a crazy interview, but it's a crazy situation, and I mean, unless we have any reason to believe that this can't happen, then there's so much up in the air that to say that no, it can happen to anything at this point is not really there. So there you go. There is your reason to either keep donating so we can get there, make it happen, or watch the rest of this interview on your own time.
Not the only one. Then I received a message from another very close friend of mine who's been on the show several times saying that he got word that this guy was still operational. And so that's why we decided to redact his name. I was getting upset because I didn't receive any communication up to that point. Well, then I checked my LinkedIn. I said, let me see if this guy actually messaged me. Sure as shit, that DEA agent did message me, said that he wanted to talk to me before tomorrow's interview. It was really important.
Wow.
We tried to contact him, not from my phone. I'm not calling any of these people, but from somebody else's phone. He didn't pick up. And we weren't going to send any text thread to show any communication between us any more than the LinkedIn message. And I didn't hit him on LinkedIn. So that also 100% checks out. Now, the weird thing.
But what were you going to say that's like incriminating by having the interaction? That seems a little odd. 25 seconds, guys. I don't think we're going to make it. But
if I remember,
you can still keep the party raging. You know how to do it.
Correctly, he posted something about the Green Beret that set the bomb off. Yeah, wow. That was his latest post. Well, Jeremy, what was it? What did the post?
Okay, this is what I wanted to see.
It was just a report of the story. So
and done something.
Oh, God damn it. That's not what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to see, but I just wanted to show you that's what I wanted to see. We're like right here.
We to contact you.
How all this stuff is lining up. What do you think?
Hey, shout out to Nick Luchetti. Thank you, sir. Everybody put Nick in the chat for keeping the party raging. Thank you, sir. Very, very much. And of course, out sponsoring yourself. Thank you, Nick.
Interesting. How all this stuff is lining up. What do you think?
I told the guys downstairs, I joking.
Oh, and we are raging. The party continues. We got $5 from Jeff. No question, no comment, just pure love of the game. And another $4.99 from Guns and Cafe. Said, let's keep the party going. I agree. And let's celebrate their 10th live stream. So the 10th super chat on a live stream. Number 10. There you go. Thank you so very, very much. Of course, our boy Nick is still the sponsor of the stream. Thank you, all of you, so very, very much. Let's party on.
I told the guys downstairs, I jokingly said this to my wife the day that I got that email, because I read the email to her. You all have heard the email now. You realize without context of who this person is, how just crazy it sounds. And I told her, I said, well, I mean, I guess if the dude ends up getting rolled up by the feds or he gets killed, we got a story, huh?
Oh, we do.
Man, famous last words, right?
Yeah.
That's so I looked at, and I want to give context on one of the things. I saw this going around on social media. People were saying that his Signal chat, his safety number changed. I don't know if you saw this on X, but it was all over X. Apparently his safety number on Signal changed. He messaged me on Signal. So I went on there to look myself to see if it changed. And sure enough, it had. On January 1st, after the bombing, after he was dead, his safety number changed. That's all he sent me. He said initial contact.
Where are those microphones? Oh, they must be above.
And I gave a thumbs up, and his safety number changed at the bottom.
Look at that.
That's after he's dead. I don't know enough about Signal to know why that would happen. Somebody has to have manipulated that, though, and messed with it. Somebody had to have been in his account after the fact and done something for that to have changed. What did the
Right there, your safety number with Matt has changed. I don't know too much about Signal. When Peter Boghossian was on, he uses Signal. And so we were communicating through that, but it's basically, you know, like WhatsApp and all those other things. It's encrypted end to end, all that kind of stuff. And so the implication here is that even though he was dead, somebody had access to the account and changed the number so that nobody could communicate anymore. I think.
The FBI say when you contacted him?
Not a lot. I gave him the story on what went down. Was very over the top, telling them, hey, I am being transparent in every way. Feel free to contact me at any time. This is my address, my name. This is why he contacted me. This is my social media page. This is any reason why this could have happened, why this got dumped on me. This is the information. They took it. They were gracious.
Nick, my friend, I love you, man. I really, really do. I really, really do. However, we just got $25 from a Funk Master General on Cash App. There we go. Thank you. So very, very much, sir. Said Nick, I'll let you have it for a while, but that shit is mine. Thank you. So very, very much, sir. Very much appreciated. Guys, let's keep the party raging. Thank you so very much, sir.
This could have happened, why this got dumped on me. This is the information. They took it. They were gracious. They were nice to talk to. Mind you, I had to explain what a VBID was, which was disheartening because you're the FBI, but that's another issue altogether. But nothing beyond that. They said thank you, and we'll be in touch if we have any further questions.
Well, they definitely got in touch with CID.
Yeah, they did.
Because that went all the way to the top of the Army. And, I'm going to dig in a little bit more on this report from 2019. However, according to international humanitarian law, including international customary law, facilities that contribute economically or financially to the war effort or of a party to a conflict are considered civilian objectives. The report jointly produced by UNAMA and the UN Human Rights Office concludes that the drug facilities associated with workers may not be lawfully made the target of attack and should be protected. The United Nations maintains that considering these objectives and individuals legitimate targets dangerously erode the fundamental principle of distinction, placing the broader civilian population and infrastructure at risk. The report sets out a number of recommendations, including that the appropriate and legal response to illicit drug activity is through law enforcement, not military operations that endanger civilians.
Well, and here's the thing. We want to know why the DOD is scrambling on this, why the FBI pushed this to them so quickly, to CID all the way up to the very top. These are very, very serious allegations.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like UN level opening an investigation type stuff into alleged war crimes.
Yet, days have gone. And I mean, well, okay. Too many thoughts in my head. So, agreed. This is a huge investigation type thing. But we've had a lot of this needs a big investigation type things in the last year. And none of them have gotten a legitimate investigation. From East Palestine to, I don't even fucking remember all this shit. We had the balloon. We had the most recently the drones. Obviously the assassination attempts. I mean, the list goes on.
Opening an investigation type stuff into alleged war crimes. This is no joke.
It did happen.
Yeah, the ripple effect is going to be massive on this.
It did happen. I think we should take a quick break. I want to scrape our email to see if this Green Beret, what's his name again?
Matt Livelsberg.
Matt.
So I may or may not. I read an old text message. And I did not get a Cash App from Funkmaster, so we still got Nick as our sponsor of the stream. That was an old text. I mean, hey, he just throws too much money at me. I get confused. So, Nick, you got that spot, brother. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Sorry about that. A little mix up. Guamtech said, good thing about East Palestine is the real estate and property are super cheap. Well, they are now. Guns and Cafe said it would be a UN investigation and they don't like us. Well, not since Trump was like, you're like fucking us, right? And they were like, maybe.
Livelsberg. Let's see. Let's see if Matthew Livelsberger sent us an email through our website email desk. We'll be right back. All right, Sam, we're back from the break. We did do a scrape of the email. Here is what we got. He actually did email us. This came in on December 29th, 2024 at 10:17 p.m. Emailed through the support desk on SeanRyanShow.com.
Damn, check your emails, people. And actually, speaking of email, we never know what's going to happen. We are talking about some shady shit. So make sure you send me an email at TheIndianJesusOfficial@gmail.com in case all of this somehow just gets nuked. Somebody does some dumb shit in Discord, that gets nuked. Whatever. Let's say they retroactively say that you're not allowed to say retard or gay anymore and everything gets nuked. I have no desire to send you an email for the sake of sending you an email. But if I have your email, then no matter what they do, we will always be in contact. It is the IndianJesus Official at gmail.com. Just let me know who you are, and if you would like, where is it? If you would like, you can send me a mailing address, and I'll give you a bunch of stickers. There it is, right on the screen. Send me an email.
10 p.m. Emailed through the support desk on SeanRyanShow.com. And by the way, all these emails will be posted on my ex account, SeanRyan762, and your ex account,
same as whore.
All right, here's the message traffic.
All right, well, I mean, the sponsor said it, Funk, so now you got to send the $20. I mean, it is what it is, man. I don't make the rules. But, I mean, the rules are. The sponsor is the highest donation. And right now, sir, that is you.
Hey, man, this is an active duty SFTM sergeant out of 10th. I want to blow the whistle on our activities in a certain place. I'm willing to sit down with you on the 31st in Flagstaff or do it remotely via phone. Must be done before the 31st as I'll be leaving. So we'll be sending this to the FBI as well. Love your contact. I'm also gonna hit some people I know over there, but I just, these people don't always talk. So yeah. I think it'd be good to keep some continuity here. But so we did receive an email. What was this guy's? You deleted the message.
The burner account on there, I did. He told me to delete it, and I did. It's a comment.
Come on, bro. Joe, make sure you delete this. Make sure you delete it for sure.
In practice, people get spooked and they want to delete it, so I do it for them.
Yeah, I was going to throw that up there, but there's tens of thousands of messages in there.
Yeah.
There you go. And of course, I'll keep it private, obviously, but just got an email, and I will send out your stickers in the morning.
I mean, it's very obvious why he did this, I think. He wanted to bring attention to the incident in 2019 that got covered up. Do you have any insight, any theories on this?
So we had a running theory downstairs. I've seen all the conspiracies. I've seen all the questions about, all right, this guy is 20-year special forces. He just got done with team sergeant time. He's a very qualified and very capable Green Beret. Everybody I've spoken to who knew the guy prior, yesterday I spoke to several people, to include his old team leader, who's now lieutenant colonel, said he was fine. Nothing out of place. His mental state was not something that anybody was concerned about. His ex-girlfriend posted photos of
It never is. Everyone's like, oh, he's so normal.
him bragging about how he got
Oh man, I wasn't really here. Ugh. Obviously not, though.
a Tesla and all this other stuff. So stick with me here. Very capable guy, but he loads the Tesla up. A Tesla, which Elon Musk brags about being bulletproof, right? So this is one of his selling points. It's bulletproof. We even saw Joe Rogan shoot an arrow at it and wasn't able to puncture this thing. So he loads up a Tesla.
Shout out to the baseball, though.
Knowing that it's gonna, not explode like he wants it to with fireworks and a bunch of other junk, when he can make a car bomb that's gonna level this place.
So, Gomtek was asking about, why, if he could have, done the whole building if he wanted to. If he wanted to. Maybe he didn't make a mistake by choosing the Cybertruck. Maybe he specifically chose the Cybertruck because he knew it would be a big explosion, but the casualties would be minimized. Holmesick said, "I'm here for the free stickers." I think you already got yours, right? I have your email. See, I don't even know because I don't even check that shit because it's just for backup. I ain't sending you shit unless I need to. But yeah, if you have not, let me know. Yeah, he said, "Are we living in the Twilight Zone?" It's like we're in a movie. I wish I had the Twilight Zone music, but I don't. But yep, sure seems like it. Sure seems like it. Well, actually, I don't know. Every day, it just seems like if one weird thing happened, I'd be like, "Whoa, are we in the Twilight Zone?" I think the world just is the Twilight Zone. Like, not like that. So yeah, that's what you said. Stupid. I'm off my game tonight. I apologize, guys.
With fireworks and a bunch of other junk, when he can make a car bomb that's going to level this place. Here's what I think. So the PAO, the Army PAO, is saying that the body inside
somehow he survived it though.
The cab did not match the DNA of his child. All right. We also know that there was no. They said he was shot by a Desert Eagle. We know that there was no signature when it rolled up. So nobody shot themselves when it rolled up to it. You would have seen a large signature. Mr. Guns and Gear, he's on X. He goes into this a lot in depth. He's
Okay. Does anybody have anything on that right there? Because I mean, I didn't ask specifically, but when you guys said, that he did that, I assumed blew up. Like, oh no, I'm not dead. Bam. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Large signature. Mr. Guns and Gear, he's on X. He goes into this a lot in depth. He's a firearms expert, and he talks about this. And there's no signature. So this is what happens.
So Jeff said DE50 creates a massive fireball and a large hole. So where did okay, maybe that's what he's talking about. Where did this notion of him offing himself with the Desert Eagle come from?
You get a Tesla because you know it can drive itself up to the hotel, the Trump Tower. You put a body in it.
We were assuming that he was in the car. Stupid. The body in the vehicle might not be him. I don't know. I mean, it seems obvious now. And it's obvious that it wasn't obvious because I drive my own car. But it seems pretty obvious. So, yeah, get a self-driving car so you ain't got to be there.
You know it can drive itself up to the hotel, the Trump Tower. You put a body in it, roll it up. It's already burned up, or it's already shot, excuse me. You don't want to kill anybody because that's not the message you're trying to send. You're not trying to level the tower or kill a bunch of people. So you load it up with fireworks and a bunch of junk to send a message. And we know that his signal number or his signal safety number changed. That can't be done unless you're inside that signal account. And a lot of people conjecture it was the FBI
Wasn't
inside
him.
his Signal account, whatever else. But what if he accidentally changed his safety number, goofed up there? He rolled a body up in a Tesla, specifically because a Tesla can drive itself up to the tower, and did what he did to send a message to expose his stuff. And he's still alive out there somewhere.
I'm going with that. I'm going with that. Jeff said the driver's DNA doesn't match his kids. Is that what he said earlier? Yes, that is what he said that twice. He said that twice so far, that the DNA of the person in the car did not match his children, the suspect's children. That's pretty strong. I mean, again, still we're days out, so we don't know, but that's a big deal. The self-driving thing did not occur to me.
Well, the other
Answers
thing
a lot of
is,
questions.
the other thing is maybe the FBI wasn't in his phone. Maybe
I do like that idea here.
Well,
I do like this with the two lights in the middle. I mean, I don't know if I would show it on screen, but I do like that effect.
Well, the other
Answers
thing
a lot of
is,
questions.
the other thing is maybe the FBI wasn't in his phone. Maybe, I mean, this guy's obviously very competent. I mean, he's got a TSSCI clearance. I'm sure the polygraph has been associated with USASOC. Obviously, he was on this operation in 2019. By the way, the general in charge of that was General Miller. You'll see that in the email that we post on X later after this interview comes out.
But when he was reading it, he said redacted for General Miller.
You know, maybe he changed his number on purpose and switched phones because he obviously was tipped off or conducted his own counter surveillance and caught Homeland or FBI tracking him. And so I think there's a very good possibility that that Matthew Livelsberger might be still alive.
It checks.
All right, we are definitely doing a poll for that. His name is Matthew, so we're just gonna use Matthew still alive. What do you think? Well, thinks that apparently they had to identify him by his tattoo, which conveniently wasn't completely burned. He said this is like a Tom Clancy bestseller book. I totally believe it. Yeah, I said shit. Me too. I never actually read a Tom Clancy book. I've only played the video games way back when I had a PS1, not a PlayStation, a PS1. But yeah, seems just like that.
As far as I can tell, it checks all the blocks.
The Desert Eagle, the Desert Eagle. I mean, yeah, a little over the top firearm. But if you think about it, if he was going to kill himself or whoever was in that car.
So, can somebody give me a little breakdown of exactly what he means here?
Yeah, a little over the top firearm. But
Desert Eagle being a little over the top. I'm just super ignorant about God. I don't know what that means. Right Click said, nah, dude, his passport and military ID were in the car. Not joking. Oh, well, then it must have been him because he couldn't have put them in the car. Oh, no, man. Nick said Desert Eagles are chambered in 375 Magnum, 41 Magnum, 44 Magnum, and 50 AE. The 50 AE is more energy at 50 yards than the 44 Magnum does at the muzzle. Just some gun nerd info. So that's what he means. It's just like you don't need all that. You don't need all that to blow your brains out. Is that the based? Is that the idea here? Okay. So it reminds me how they conveniently found the passports of the 9/11 hijackers after a jet fuel for a bomb in the middle of the building rubble. Oh, look what I found. Stupid. I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming you guys do.
But if you think about it, if he was going to kill himself or whoever was in that car was going to kill himself, look, if I was going to commit suicide with a firearm, I would go with the biggest possible caliber of bullet that I could to
Yeah, I said shit, me too.
make sure that it actually worked because I wouldn't want to be sitting there choking all over myself with a fucking 9mm or something.
True.
So
Wait.
as I-
So you're telling me if I want to off myself, I shouldn't use a 22?
As far as I know,
See, I know some stuff.
50 caliber Desert Eagle is the biggest.
Wait, when we're talking like 50 cal, like that's the same thing that they use in the video game sniper rifles? Is that the same same ammunition? Is that what we're talking about? Guns and cafes. There's a lot of tradecraft going on here. I don't know what that means. What is tradecraft? Behave said Desert Eagles are sexy and powerful hand cannons. Okay. No, not this. So not. It's a different. That's a different 50 caliber. Well, why the fuck do they call it 50 caliber? That's like when my fucking my flight back from Vegas, 2 different flights from Vegas to JFK, 1 day apart, 24 hours apart, same goddamn number. Same diameter, different back end power. Okay. I mean, so still, it's like, hey, we want to make sure this is done. This is like overkill, so to speak, but it's not a fucking 50 cal sniper rifle. Okay, fair enough.
Handgun caliber that you can get, and so that could play into this as well. But
there's a lot going on.
Was there something in that email again that said that this would prevent World War III with the UAP?
Well, it didn't say it would prevent World War III, but he was asking that.
Oh, now I get it.
He said you need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war because this is a mutually assured destruction situation.
I wonder what he's trying to do with these, what he's trying to tell us with these drones.
That if they go off, then, I mean, it sounds like if they do what they are intended to do, then we're in a position where we have to retaliate and then nuclear war. That's what that sounds like he's saying. I'm not saying that that's true. I'm saying interpreting the manifesto, that's what it sounds like. This is a mutually assured, that is typically reserved for the zero sum. I don't know the action express. Okay, I still don't know what that means, but fair enough. Yeah, scary.
I wonder what he's trying to do with these, what he's trying to tell us with these drones.
Shout out to you guys. Look how much of this we've actually covered. Shout out again to you guys. Guns and Cafe said tradecraft means spy and spook tactics. Thank you, sir. Quantic said I know nothing about guns. Just things I've heard. Like why police use smaller rounds is because they bounce inside the target and less chance of exiting and hitting someone else. Well, you just taught me something. I just learned something. Right click said we have a 50 Beowulf here. All right. I hope that was enjoyable for all of you guys. So.
Oh man, I hesitate to even get into this realm because I have no expertise in drones or let's just call it alien technology, UFO.
Neither do any of us, bro.
UFO technology, whatever's going on here. But here's one thing that I talked about with the guys downstairs earlier. Several weeks ago, I don't know if you saw that video. It was a New Jersey sheriff or chief of police. I can't remember which, but he flew their own drone up, their own department drone up to try to figure out what was going on. So we had all these drone issues that were being cited off of New Jersey and everything. And what he commented on video was how fast these things were. He said, we have a pretty robust drone, and they flew it up there to try to catch these drones that were there, and they just, bam, they were gone.
Yeah.
He said there was no catching them.
And another weird thing is, you guys have, my neighbor who was always giving me food and all that. She was out smoking a cigarette and she saw one. Oh yeah, she saw one in the sky, and so she took a picture. And she saw one. She took the picture. She looks at her phone, and then not only is the one that she took a picture of there, but there's 3 other things that it looked like they were moving. I don't know. Maybe her hand was moving. I don't know. But she's an iPhone, so I would assume it takes pictures pretty quickly like that. But there was more stuff there. There was more stuff that was not visible to the naked eye in the sky. At that, not quite at that size, but still very big. And it was visible. Just take a picture of it. Excuse me.
These drones that were there, and they just, bam, they were gone. He said there was no catching them. Never seen anything like it. They don't even know. They have no idea what that could have been. And so you have this capability that is, I guess, in line with what we hear about anti-gravity being. And I don't know. It makes you wonder.
See, I know what Guantek's talking about.
Well, you have the stuff with Brian Graves and
I do remember side quest. I do remember Beowulf was like one of the first things that, like, for whatever reason, the framing of of how we studied it made me be like, I don't want to do this. And then from there, I just had a continued perspective on reading, and I never got back into reading. Not good. Not good. Oh, wait, let's go to our poll. Yeah. Do you guys think he's still alive? 75% of you said yes. Very interesting.
Is it Dan Favor, Dave Favor?
Commander David Fravor.
The commander, David Favor, who, was it the Nimitz?
He was in the Nimitz strike group in 2004.
Yeah, the Nimitz strike group in 2004 that reported those UAPs coming out of the water and had no propulsion system.
Remember that.
But, and it's interesting that nobody seems to know what the drones are, and it just, kind of disappeared out of the media.
But not only, that's not the weird part. The weird part isn't that they don't know. The weird part is that they don't know, but they're like, yeah, we don't need to worry about that. What? How do you know that? How do you know what not to worry about if you don't know what it is? They said the AIM-2 heavy machine gun and the 50 sniper rifles use the 50 BMG Browning machine gun. That's the one that I'm talking about from video games that I would know. Hit the 50 cal. Right? Is that what you're talking about? Jeff said, what they call gravitic propulsion may not be anti-gravity, but more like gravity redirection or manipulation. It is or was all theoretical, but I could account for the way the drones act. 100% agree. I think there's definitely, I think anti-gravity is just kind of a shorthand. I don't think like they're implying that gravity disappears or something like that. I think it is exactly what you're saying, a manipulation of gravity. He's like, they know what's good. They're just not telling us. I think said I watch a lot of Kentucky ballistics. Does that count me as a gun nut? Am I cool yet? Nope. Yeah, they know. They just don't want to tell us. Guns and Cafe. So this guy is the new DB Cooper. Well, some of you will know who DB Cooper was definitively, and some of you won't. Automatic Colt pistol. Gotcha. Cool. Thank you.
Seems to know what the drones are, and it just, kind of disappeared out of the media. And, and the other thing is we do have the capability to take these drones out. Well, everybody was trying to figure out what the drones on. I brought on a very prominent businessman, Joe Lonsdale, who is the co-founder of a company called Epirus. Epirus is they manufacture these directed EMP weapons that can take out 100 drones at a time with a basically sends out a simultaneous different directed EMP weapons. Brought him on. He's also founder of Palantir, big AI platform that the military's been using.
Sure.
That kind of revolutionized warfare.
Big fan.
So we could have taken those drones out at any moment in time. In fact, I know those are deployed. So
I mean, the official excuse that they gave in a lot of instances, well, they're over residential areas. We can't shoot that down without a lot of collateral damage. But that begs the question, like, okay, but what if it was for sure an enemy aircraft over, a neighborhood? You still got to shoot that shit down. Like, civilian casualties happen in war. Obviously, that's not good. We gotta get those fuckers out of the sky.
That could be. So he had two objectives. One, he definitely wanted to bring light to 2019. That obviously affected his code of morals, and the drones.
Yeah.
And he's obviously very worried about World War III, which I think everybody right now. But why Trump Hotel? Why Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that hasn't been mentioned is the Trump-Elon connection. That was where my mind went about using the Cybertruck. I was thinking, okay, use a Tesla and put it in front of Trump Tower, be anti, MAGA, and then not understanding maybe that, because the Cybertruck is so wild, when I blow this up, that it's really going to cause a lot of damage because there's going to be metal shards and shrapnel everywhere. That was my initial, maybe that's what happened. But I don't know. I don't know.
I conjecture and speculation at this point. I couldn't even tell you. You know, I've heard both sides. I've seen them finding posts from his wife, who's very allegedly. I'm not saying this. I'm just saying what has been put out on social media is very anti-Trump. She has had a number of anti-Trump posts, and then him, who is his family say is a stalwart patriot, Trump supporter, all these other things. Which I guess if I had to guess, just in the realm of conjecture again, I would say Trump Tower. It draws more media, more fanfare. Was this an assassination attempt? That kind of stuff. So you get more press, more media pulling into it because it is such a significant namesake, if you will. But at the same time, it was a fireworks display and very little more. And if I'm running with the theory that I proposed a little while ago, he didn't want to hurt anybody. He wanted to send a message.
No, I mean, it's very obviously, look, the guy's got great tradecraft.
There's that tradecraft. I'm assuming Jeff, you mean wasn't? Jeff said definitely does appear the explosion was designed to kill anyone outside the Tesla. I think it means wasn't. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it does seem like it wasn't designed to kill anyone outside the Tesla. Matthew King said, my head made that connection immediately too. It's a message to Trump and Elon. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And of course, that's what AJW was also saying. Was not. That's what I thought. Yeah. Definitely does appear the explosion was not designed to kill anyone outside the Tesla. Gluttek said, my conspiracy theory brain goes to this is all just a bit too subtle, to Trump and Elon from the a bit so subtle sign to Trump and Elon from the intelligence agencies. Seems like they like to work in signals and messages. I mean, obviously that is, you know, something that we have to like we have to assume the deep state intelligence agencies, someone there had information. Like clearly we're seeing that there was communication. How much of that was number one, orchestrated by the intelligence agency, number two, understood by the intelligence agency, number three, taken seriously by the intelligence agencies. I will shit on them all the live long day, but they're not clairvoyant, and I don't expect them to be. So I don't know. Right click said my head said, oh, it's Trump and Elon and bad timing. It's probably a psyop. Seems like that's where all of our heads went, but maybe either we're on point or we're suckers for the propaganda. That's what they want you to think.
You know, I mean, he changed. I mean, it's
that word again.
Very obviously. Look, the guy's got great tradecraft. You know, I mean, he changed his signal number, if that was him, or his whatever the contact number on Signal. 20 plus year in special operations at the highest level. Picked a car that's bulletproof to do this. I think, yeah, there definitely wasn't mass casualties. He wasn't trying to hit mass casualties, because otherwise he would have done it at another location as well.
Well, again, as Guamtech was saying, and I'm directly quoting Guamtech, I hadn't seen this anywhere, so take your issues up with Guamtech. But you know, if people close to him are saying like he had the capability to do way more, then it does make sense that he did exactly what he wanted to do.
Or the bomb would have been bigger to take the entire building.
I agree.
Out. And so this definitely wasn't, in my opinion, this definitely wasn't incompetence.
Another thing to support this. So you got the email. He desperately wanted to talk to you before December 31st.
So this again is the email to what the fuck is his name? Sean Ryan. Hey man, this is an active duty. Oh Jesus fucking Christ. Sergeant out of 10th. I want to blow the whistle on our activities in a certain place. I'm willing to sit down with you on the 31st in Flagstaff or do it remotely via phone. Must be done before the 31st as I'll be leaving.
He knew beyond a shadow of a doubt January 1st was go day. Nobody was pressuring him. At the beginning of this email, we see, first of all, I'm not under duress or hostile influence or control. Okay. So he says that he reached out to you. He was very emphatic that it had to be before December 31st because he was doing this thing on January 1st. For some reason, that was a landmark day to him. Maybe it was just because big day for everybody.
Well, start the year off with a bang.
January 1st. But he was very emphatic that was the time. And then the thing he was trying to do was overall, more than anything, was get a message across on the biggest platforms possible. He was trying.
If I can find this TikTok really quickly, then I'm going to be so happy because it goes along directly with this chat. Let's see.
Trying to talk to Pete Hegseth. Why would you want to talk to the Secretary of Defense? He's trying to blow the whistle on these war crimes. He's trying to say this thing happened, man. Like, I can't live with this anymore. He desperately needs to talk to you.
Hey, we got another email with an address. Look out for your stickers.
Biggest platform out there. He needs to talk to Fox News. I need to get this message out. That was his overall goal. In everything else, everything I've seen, I have not seen the intended goal was to kill himself or to create a mass casualty event. It is to get this message out. And how can I do that? What is the biggest bang for my buck? How can I get that done? That's what I'm seeing here.
Yeah. It's a damn good point.
And a damn good plan if this is exactly what you wanted.
Wow. Do you think there was any correlation between him and the New Orleans attack?
No.
I don't either.
I looked at all that. I looked at the posts. I looked at the, people are scrambling for news. Everybody wants to post something. They want to be the guy on social media to post the groundbreaking thing. And I saw all these connections to Fort Bragg, and they deployed together at this time. And great. So did 500,000 of the rest of us. I was at Fort Bragg. Oh man, tie me to Delta Force. I must have been part of Delta Force and some slaps. No, I had nothing to do with them. It's this nonsense. It's a big organization. The Army is very large. You're picking things out and you're trying to make this a thing. That New Orleans guy.
Okay, real quick. Side quest. You said this, and it reminded me of this.
Are you okay?
Yeah, but I just went out food. I'm getting ready to eat.
Getting ready to eat?
Yeah.
All right, you're like freaking out, it looks like.
No, the way I'm driving?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. This car, it's got a centrifugal, this car, it's automatic, but for some reason, I don't know why, sometimes if I hit it like the wrong way, it'll work and drive as if I'm in like 4 and 5. So I'll drive, next thing you know, it'll be fine, then I'll drop. But other than that, I'm good. Okay. This happens like, I don't know, maybe twice a week. I just got done. What do you call it? Texas Roadhouse. So,
Texas Roadhouse?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Out back.
Okay.
But anyways.
Do you have any weapons or narcotics in the vehicle?
No, I have absolutely nothing. I'm good.
If you could just step out of the vehicle for me so I can speak to you out of the vehicle.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, part 2, real quick. Right.
It sounds like I'm driving a clutch at a red light.
The comment says, in his mind, he thinks he's acting chill. This is what I thought of when y'all start talking about the squirrels and all that.
Issues with
You'll see.
the
Yeah.
motor or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But what about you driving all over the roadway, swerving into different lanes, almost hitting the curb, all of that?
I mean, I don't remember swerving and driving into the middle of the lanes.
You didn't almost strike anything or anyone?
No, I'm aware. I'm coherent. I mean, I know absolutely what's going on. Okay.
So we'll fast forward through all this. You understand our concern, correct?
No,
and why
absolutely.
we're out here?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I would. It would be one thing that if you came up and questioned me, and I gave you absolutely the total opposite of your answers, then it would be like, okay, you know what? Look, 99.9% the accusations or whatever you got on the call that are made against you, we have to go full force. So you coming out and talking to me gives me an opportunity to explain to you, hey, look why.
You got no opportunity, bro. You're going to jail. All right, side quest over. Bugmaster said, yeah, man, birds are delicious. They like voles.
What?
I'm gonna leave that alone.
You're picking things out and you're trying to make this a thing. That New Orleans guy was a staff sergeant who got out of the active duty Army in 2015, and he was in the reserves until 2020. People are saying in the last year he was radicalized. I talked to multiple of his peers, to include, I'm going to be very, very careful with this. Former leadership, I'm not going to give what echelon they were at, former leadership of his, there was no indication at all back then that he was radicalized. He didn't say radical. I've seen the posts. I saw several people who were saying, well, we have confirmed posts that he was saying radical Islamic things. I don't believe it. And because nobody he worked with confirmed that. They said, no, we had no indication that he was like this. And if you talk to people now, they said in the last year, he was radicalized. He started taking on these more radical teachings of Islam and everything else. And he had this, he
maybe he's a Sneeko fan.
Fell into financial hardship and all these other things. So you're telling me this guy who was a former 42 Alpha S1 guy, human resources, pushes your paper, and then an IT guy, 25 Bravo, is somehow connected
that was a joke
to a Green Beret team sergeant out of 10? No.
Well, also they found an ISIS flag in New Orleans,
which
they didn't find any of that here.
I think that might have been just some silliness on his part, trying to take on some kind of Islamic banner of jihad, I would conjecture, all conjecture, say that is likely he has no affiliations to ISIS. But
Why? I need a follow up on that. Like, if you have a reason, again, this isn't a challenge, but if a motherfucker flying an ISIS flag, how comes Razor? What?
You know, I wonder. I don't really believe in coincidences. You know, and both of these explosions happened in the same day, or both of these attacks, whatever you want to call them, happened on the same day. The attack and the explosion, which obviously wasn't meant to be an attack.
That's fair. And I don't believe in coincidences either normally, but I look at a landmark day like January 1st, and I think, what better day? Any day. I'm going to do a thing January 1st.
Yeah.
And I think possibly old boy in New Orleans had help. I don't think that he could have done all the spotting and surveying and assessing himself. He would have likely had to at least have a spotter to say, yeah, you're good to go.
Spotter? I barely even know her.
Maybe, but I think that's plausible. But other than that, I have a hard time making that connection.
You know, this email, I wonder who else he reached out to. This came in from
That's a good point.
Gabbard.
That's a good point. I mean, unless you're a super fan, you're going to hit up one podcast with information like this and a plan like this. You're going to hit up one podcast. He was talking about Fox News. He was talking about a lot of stuff. I don't know. You know, we listen to a lot of us on Biker. It's like, well, you know, they're just depressed. Oh, you guys are going off.
GMIB or MLB at protonmail.com. So he was even using an encrypted email service, but which I think everybody in intelligence and special operations knows what Proton Mail is.
Yeah. I would imagine if Joe Rogan, Fox News, name some other big names out there, scrub their emails right now, they could probably find a message from this guy.
Yeah.
He came to me because I'm like D-list media. I'm the guy who has kind of a platform on social media, but I'm not big time, but I can kind of get things to the big time every once in a while if it's a big enough story. And that's what he was hoping for. He was just throwing mud at the wall, trying to get somebody to get his message out.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. The notion that like, I'm only gonna reach out to this one dude and hope that it goes to the exact perfect channels. And I mean, it happened to work, but maybe that's because he threw so many things at the wall, and this is the first one that stuck. So I don't know. Right, like said, birds will be drones that can poop acid or fly into you, exploding when your credit score drops. True. Glomdex said, I mean, board drones do go all the way back to the Vietnam War. You think that technology didn't get any better? Oh, bird drones. Really? You're like, nope, I'm sticking with board drone. That's what's in NJ right now. I mean, they're not bored. We're getting bored of not knowing what's good, but they are not bored. They are doing something. They ain't here for no reason. Mike Master General said, I heard a Russian bird drone flew into a turbine of the plane that crashed in Kazakhstan on Christmas. What? Well, I don't know how to respond to that. I mean, the notion that birds aren't real has been around for long enough that it's like, why is this still around? Now, I will just say, where I live now, there's no trees like right over my car. Where the fuck did I live before this? There I did. Yep, yeah. So okay, the last place I lived, I was parked on the street, and there was trees lining the thing. I can't tell you the last time there was bird poop on my car. Can you? When was the last time you have a specific memory of, oh man, a bird pooped on my car? Just saying. Right click said those are boardroom drones. There you go. Matthew King said, guarantee Tim Kennedy, Jacko, Joe Rogan, and every other military connected podcaster got an email. I would put money on that. Absolutely. Oh, Jesus. Fish drones are actually scary. They look and swim just like real fish. Unlike the birds that don't fly like real birds. I'm lost. I'm lost. All right, this is going off the rails, guys. It's time for the after party. Let's give. We did not hit our goal, but that is okay. We had a lot of support tonight. Shout out to everybody who donated. Thank you so very, very much, guys. It means the goddamn world to me. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, guys, if you are not a member, make sure and sign up. It's $3.99 a month. That is 12 after parties and all the other good stuff. When we set up movie nights, like I said, 24/7, we're in there hanging out, having interesting conversations. It's been a little slow over the holidays, but everybody's been doing their thing. We're all getting back into it. So come on for the third season. Let's call it season 3 of the Indian Jesus. Come on, the Ruguts. Thank you so Halliburton. There you go. Good one. Thank you so very, very, very much for hanging out, guys. It definitely was a little not so easy getting back into the swing of things. I really like Behave was saying I have not paid attention to shit over the last 2 months. But we're getting back into it, and this season I have a feeling. Guys, season 3, just like any good show, season 3 is always the best season. So come on through. If you are not already subscribed, make sure you do that live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. I have not been streaming that much other than the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I do have something for tomorrow that I absolutely tomorrow that I absolutely want to cover. Well, this weekend that I absolutely want to cover. I want to do it tomorrow. We'll see. Definitely this weekend, though. And then, of course, I'll be back on Monday. Thank you so very much. A big shout out once again to the sponsor of the stream, Nicholas Kenny. Let's give him one more. Thank you, sir. Very, very, very much appreciated. Members, disciples, I will see you over there. Until next time, guys, this is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, a.k.a. the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here. Peace.